Happy Halloween week. Going to do a Halloween show for Saturday night into Sunday. So, can't do it over here because I'll be over in Dark Waters, over in Dark Waters radio channel and Fringe FM over there. Holy cow, can you believe it's already Halloween? Wow, got some stories to cover, and then we'll get to the unscreened Halloween open lines. Let's see what's going on over there. Hope you like the new music for the Halloween thing I just picked out. It's called Scars. I got it over on Pixabay. Crazy, isn't it? Well, anyway, it sounded pretty good to me, and I ran it by Misty, and she said, okay. There you go. Well, folks, how you guys doing? How you guys feeling? Let's get a couple of things here up and running. And say howdy to a few people. Lisa, Ray, Jean, Scotty, what's going on? Insight, what's up? One Man Band, Buddy, what's up? Mr. Lurks a Lot. Sheila, Paula. Definitely, folks, like, subscribe, and share this rascal out if you would like. I appreciate it. Tonight is Unscreened Open Lines as usual. 931-994-6917 is the thing to call. Or you can text. Believe it or not, you can text. But text a question, text a story, text a comment or whatever, or just say howdy do. And I'll read it out on the air if it is plausible. Station keeping. Folks, I've decided for this show and for all remaining shows, we will not be talking about anything that has to do with COVID. That will be an automatic hang-up on you if you call in with anything that has to do with COVID. And, of course, if you want to find anything out about COVID, go to the appropriate local websites, cdc.gov, and get all the info there. Believe it or not, that's up to you. But YouTube has definitely locked down a lot of stuff, and you just can't even mention that stuff anymore. So definitely we will, anybody that says anything about COVID in the chat for the folks with the wrenches, erase it. If you get a lot of people that talk about it and won't understand that we will not talk about it, ban them. Just outright ban them. I do not want to threaten this channel because we're talking about something that YouTube is obviously deleted channels without even a question. So anyway, Chaos Theory, what's going on? Impromptu Truth, John. Wow. Holy cow, how many people's in here? 16 already? That's incredible. That's incredible. How's the audio? KJ, what's up? What's up, brother? Give a big thanks out for all the folks that have donated to the show. I'm going to run the folks' names by there. Royd's X, if he's on or is going to listen, I appreciate the donation from last show over on the Dark Water channel. I appreciate that greatly. You don't know how much that means to me, that somebody actually will give me a penny. Well, the one thing is, folks, just to let you know, to support the show is cheap, free actually. Just thumbs up, share it, subscribe it if you like the feel. And hey, TC, glad to see you on. I ain't seen you on in a while. But yep, that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to open up lines for anything that is true, anything that has to do with the supernatural, anything that is Halloweenish, Halloween topics. Topics as usual is open lines. Whoever calls in, other than we're not going to be talking about anything that has to do with what is in the news every freaking day. Multiple times a day. We're not going to be talking about that in any shape, form, or fashion. So just to let you guys know. Impromptu Truth, what's going on? Anyway, folks, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and just start out this brand new show here in just a second. Let let me do this proper-wise. I just jumped on to do a quickie here. For the folks over on the Paranormal Radio app, we're about ready to get this thing going. And the open lines number is 931-994-6917 over on our Dark Waters channel. And also for the Dark Waters channel on YouTube. Same number. Holy cow. And you can text that number. But we got a couple, 3 or 4 interesting stories to go over. And we'll be doing that here in just a few minutes. But, yeah, what you guys drinking? I've got medium, actually I've got some dark roast coffee. And it's in a container that it's neutral, so I don't know what I put in it. But it's definitely dark roast. Dante Sharp, what's up? Okay, here we go. We're going to go ahead and do this upright and get this show started.
Do ghosts really exist? Are we alone? Is there life after death?
It looks like a giant ape with a man's face.
We've done some testing to determine if it is a synthesizer or not.
It's Wednesday night, October 20th, 2021, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. over on the left coast. Today is a full hunter's moon. It was actually full at 10:57 a.m. this morning, 9:57 a.m. Central Time. And then I'd say about 7:57 over on the left coast. Happy hunter's moon. It is an Indian moon, actually. It's named by the Indians because in October, the first full moon is when everybody starts gathering and hunting and storing food in stores for the wintertime. And we're celebrating Halloween week here on Chasing the Truth with Shawn G. And somewhere in the Appalachian Mountains via the interwebs to the Fringe FM. Well, actually not the Fringe FM, just to the Paranormal Radio app. Apologize for that. I forgot to delete that. And the world as we know it connected through a hope and a prayer and a good bit of duct tape. And hopefully my connection will be, holy cow, it will do better than it has done in the last couple of days. It's just one of those things. I don't know. But anyway. Tonight is open lines, Halloween open lines, meaning you got a good story. I'd like to hear it. I'm sure the other folks that's in the chat and listening on the other paranormal radio station, Dark Waters, would love to hear it. 931-994-6917 is the channel, or is the number to call, 931-994-6917. You can call it, or if you don't feel like having your voice on air, text it. 931-994-6917. I've got somebody lined up for Saturday night over on the Dark Waters channel that will give you an interest, hopefully. Now, this is just preliminary stuff, but maybe giving you an interesting spin on what Bigfoot and what witches in the Indian reservation tribes across the United States, American Indians. So we'll wait and see what we can do with that. The story I got was interesting. Double-checked a couple of things in the background after I talked to this fellow. But definitely a full-blooded Aboriginal United States American Indian. And he has an interesting story to tell you, the least. But that will be Saturday night, not tonight. Tonight is Halloween Unscreened Open Lines. Let's see, we got Bigfoot Anonymous in the house over there. Sheila Ingam. I hope I got that right. I forgot what you told me to call you, Ingam. But Zawickle, what's up? Where you at today? Are you on the road, or did you park your truck? Actually, I talked to Chase yesterday after I was on, Walt's live stream. He called me after the live stream asking me a question about that Dogman killing on my last Wednesday show. And I said, hey, it's up to you, the listener, to either believe it or not believe it. During these live unscreened calls, there's no way in the world that I can vet these things out. I hope that you can come across that. But hopefully I asked enough questions to give enough answers for you guys to one way or another say, well, I kind of believe it, or I don't believe it, or hey, I'm right on board with whoever called in. But that's what these unscreened open lines are. Watch your language over in the chat there, folks, just to let you know. Just watch your language over in the chat, that's all I ask. As we're growing this channel, I don't want anything that will, be of a detriment to me trying to get monetized for this thing. Actually, one of the things that I actually did once I hit 1,000, I actually applied for the monetization for YouTube, and from whatever reason, they gave me this really, really vague, we can't monetize your channel. I'm like, why in the heck can't you monetize my channel? I ain't done anything. But there you go. What's going on? That's all right, Scotty. Just, it's just one of those things. They wanted everything PG-13, I think, more or less. But One Man Band, what's going on? You're going to like Saturday night's show, I think, One Man Band, if I get that fellow on. The Aboriginal. Jeff, what's going on? Just, one thing for all the moderators that's in the house, anything that has to do with the COOF, with the big C, the Colt 45, erase it from the chat. Don't want it in there. Don't want to have any kind of consequences that will come back on this channel at all. Because, one, I don't even know why they denied monetization to my channel, so I just want to make sure the next time I apply for it, we will not have that to be one of those check marks on there. So, and if you call in, definitely know as soon as you start talking about this stuff, about the Colt 45, the big C, everybody got sick over it and is sick over hearing about it, I will hang up on you. No questions asked. That's about it. But there's plenty of other interesting topics out there to talk about. Thank you, Lisa Ray. Appreciate it. Gene Fox, what's going on? But wow, all I can tell you is there has been some interesting things that's happened on other channels that I have been a part of. Of course, Vault of Nightmares. Go over to the Vault of Nightmares 2.0, I think is the right channel. He's been doing some live streams from his phone in his backyard. So watch that out. Watch that guy. He's got some stuff going on over there. I seen Lakea in the chat earlier before the stream got going there. Happy hour. I appreciate that donation for the oh gee whiz, my brain's not working, for the bot over in my channel on Discord, Chasing the Truth channel. You get up with you and talk to you about that, but I do appreciate that. Oh my God. Now, for the folks that like to talk about anything that's truthful or conspiracy theory, Chasing the Truth over on the Discord channel is the place to go. Don't have all those crazy restrictions with language barriers or anything like that. But Chasing the Truth over there on the Discord channel until they decide to start pushing some crazy crap over there. And that's the place to go. 24/7. I think there's 140 some people, maybe a little bit more over there. Follow what's going on. Appreciate y'all joining me in this chat. Let's go over and start looking at, hold on just a second. Let me get this thing up and running. And here we go. All right. Hope you like that skull animation. I love it. And I hope you like that little kitty cat with, I'm allergic to kitty cats, just to let you know. I just like the pumpkin and the kitty cat there. But I wanted to go over a couple of crazy stories that has a little bit of a Halloweenish theme. First off, from unexplainedmysteries.com, unexplainedmysteries.com, New Zealand. I did not know New Zealand had a wizard, but they laid this gentleman off after 23 years. This is dated October 18th, 2021. Gandalf-esque, I guess that's how you pronounce that, Gandalf-esque magician had spent more than 2 decades on the official payroll. The traditional concept of a wizard that of a bearded man dressed in a robe and carrying a staff might seem like something relegated solely to the realm of fantasy fiction. Meet Ian Brackenbury, a UK-born wizard who since 1998 has been paid 16,000 New Zealand dollars a year to play the role of New Zealand's official city wizard. And yes, he does have a beard and a robe and a staff. A resident of Christchurch, Brackenbury was hired to promote the city through the acts of wizardry and the wizard-like services, and has been seen performing his wizarding arts there ever since. His appointment to the role happened thanks to an unusual set of circumstances. During the 70s and 80s, he had to frequently perform as a wizard in the public spaces until the council took exception to him and asked him to stop. Following a public outcry, however, the Prime Minister of New Zealand at the time decided to offer him a role of the country's official wizard so that his services could benefit everyone across the entire nation. Now, though, 23 years on, it looks as though his official wizarding days are over. According to Christchurch Council spokesman, the reason for sacking Brackenbury was the wizards simply weren't cool anymore. He begged to differ, and that he didn't fit into the city's modern image. Not all is lost, though, as the resident magician man intends to continue making appearances, even if he is no longer doing so in an official capacity. Well, first off, I did not know this bizarre story. Mongolian Monster Buddy, what's up? Appreciate you dropping by. Definitely, I was talking about you earlier, I think, but if you have not been dropped by Mongolian Monsters channel, Tuesdays and Thursdays or Fridays, I think it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, he does a live stream similar to mine without the phone calls. He does the yard StreamYard stuff. And pretty much, he's got some fantastic people that's in his chat and joins his show. It's just one of those crazy things that Miss T and I both love to take part of. Harry Man Hoaxes and Hoodwinks, what's going on? Appreciate you dropping by. Okay, folks, so what we're doing right now is I'm going over some crazy stories that has a Halloween theme to it. And the New Zealand official wizard is laid off after 23 years. And he actually got paid for this, believe it or not. But there's story number one. Story number one, now we're going to click over to phantomsmonsters.com. Lon Strickler, I've been on his show, he's been on my show. And he's got a repository of all things of the paranormal. You name it, decades worth of interesting stories. He's got hidden away at phantomsandmonsters.com. Friend of the show, friend of the Dark Waters family. And Wednesday, dated October Wednesday, 20th, 2021. Bigfoot spotted in a small farm town. Girl shocked by a Sasquatch in a barn near Yale, Michigan. Anybody know where Yale, Michigan is? Well, anyway, Bigfoot spotted in a small farm town, Yale, Michigan. UPI Cindy Barron, says it is not the torn down fences or the barn doors that have been ripped off at the hinges, nor is it the high-pitched screaming her family often hear at night. It's the unknown that scares us, she said. If I knew what it was, I could deal with it. She is referring to a large hairy creature that she and her family are convinced is a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot. Or around my parts neck of the woods, it's called a booger. A creature that is said to walk on 2 legs and roam wooded areas from Maine to Washington. Many think it is so-called missing link of the human evolution. The Baron's latest encounter with the beast came Friday evening, November 19th, when daughters Tina, 13, Roxanne, 12, went out to the barn to check on their animals. Tina said that the horses were spooked, and when she reached for the light switch in the pitch-black barn, she felt some fur Well, I wonder what the heck she got a hold of there. But she said the beast stood 2 feet above her. 2 feet above her. So 12, 13-year-old, what would that be? Like a mid 5 foot range? Maybe 5 foot, 7 foot. So 7 foot tall beast of a hairy man or whatever. But Tina said she did not know what the animal was. I have no idea, Tina said. All I know is that its fur was about 1 inch thick and all matted and dirty. And here, I guess, is the clipping from Yale, Michigan, UPI. So, if you're looking at this after the fact, after I've done this live stream, you can stop and pause and read that from UPI over in Michigan, Yale, Michigan. Let's see. She was lured inside by a barn by something mimicking a kitten. That's weird. Last night on several streams that I've been, not just last night, but several streams that I've been on and talked to different people. These Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Dogman too, but not so much. Boogers, wood boogers. I hate wood boogers. I hate the name wood boogers, but boogers is what I grew up with. That's the one name my grandparents tried to scare me with, tried to get me in the house before and a little after dusk. Boogers. Upper Peninsula of Michigan is Dogman Mecca. Well, I think Dogman's all over the place there. Bigfoot Anonymous. But Michigan is definitely got the Michigan Dogman is definitely one of those big things that is out and about. Do you guys believe all these Dogman stories that are out and about? Because you hear more of those, hear more and more lately. Is that a consequence of creepypasta? Or is it a real injection of new encounters? Are these things being let out by the weird black level ABC companies across the world? Are they kind of doing whatever they need to do to put a little spook into us? I don't know. You tell me. But tonight is 931-994-6917. That is the number to call or text. 931-994-6917. Open lines. Halloween open lines. Unscreened, of course. As always. Even before I called it unscreened, it was always unscreened. There wasn't nobody but me screening the lines, meaning as soon as you call that number, you hear me saying, hey, you are on the air. What's your name and where you're from? And, of course, what we're not talking about tonight or any following show, as far as I'm concerned, it is anything that has to do with the beer virus. So, or anything thereof. Get enough of that crap on every day, multiple times a day, no matter what you do with it. Okay, we got a caller. Hold on, caller, while I get you on the air. And you are on the air in 3, 2, 1. I believe we got Wes Vick on the air. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Hopefully tomorrow I'll finally be moved into the new place. At least that's what's on the plans.
Hey, that's fantastic. The Lord works in mysterious ways. I'm glad that
yes, he does.
Hopefully that everything will look up from this point forward, and you'll have a great fall into winter season where your new place is. Dad doing okay?
Yeah, he's yes and no. He is physically okay. He's getting on some people's nerves, but he'll be all right. That's what basically old men do.
Oh, there we go.
But honestly, no, he's just boneheaded at all. He's a good man. He's just stubborn.
Well, once you hit over the age of 60, you're pretty well set in your ways. You know.
Oh yeah.
Being able to talk somebody out of something they've been doing for 60 plus years, that's going to be hard.
I gave up on trying on that. I mean, I guess it's genetic. I'm setting my ways too, but no, he's doing.
Okay. Well,
just having to kind of put a boot in him every now and then, but he's doing good. I was going to say, yeah, honestly, I'm glad to be getting my own space. That'll help with everybody. Now, I mean, like I said, yeah, things are looking up from here on out.
That's cool, brother. Awesome to hear. So what's going on with your channel?
I was going to let everyone know I released. I've been putting out a few updates. Basically, basically my ugly mug talking into a freaking cell phone video camera. Basically what I'm going to be doing here and there. I did put up, like I promised, one of my stories. I put it in story format. It's a real event that happened. It's called The Night Worm. I put that out earlier today. If you guys want to check it out, feel free to listen to it. It's actually in a pretty good format. I put some little music into it and, just basically a story. I hate the term creepypasta. Oh, God, I hate that term, but it's like that.
Oh, okay.
Like a whole format. I mean, it's entertainment. I like to entertain people, not just put my stuff out there. It's entertainment. That's kind of the intention.
All right. Well, I posed this question right before you called in, and I appreciate you calling in. With all these Dogman stories, are these a factor of people saying, "Hey, I like this subject matter," and they're making up these stories like creepypasta, or they're actually?
That's a damn good question, and I'm going to go ahead and answer that the best way I know.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a factor of above. It's like, I'll give you an example. Like with the stupid Slender Man. Oh, God. Anyway, moving on from that. It's annoying. You hear so many stories and stupid. Like I said, I'm not really a big creepypasta fan. I prefer the oldies but goodies. Give me Freddy Krueger. Give me Michael Myers. Candyman. I'm going with that. But anyway, moving from that. There have been actually legitimate sightings of creatures like the Slender Man and things like that in the woods and different things like that because there's so much mental energy. I believe there's a term called a tulpa or however you pronounce it. And of course, it's literally where thought is made into manifest of reality. Pretty much. I think a lot of the Dogman stuff is, again, it's like Big Homie says, basically there's either a physical manifestation, like old world, which probably been around, and I believe very firmly that's probably the basis of it. And of course, you have the stuff Uncle Sam's been tinkering with, but I'm going to be careful about mentioning that. And of course, you have the supernatural aspect, which I think is all kind of, I think these creatures have always had that type of knack with them, with that attachment. So the supernatural just kind of comes and goes the territory. But I think a lot of it is due to the attention, the mental attention. You have probably tens of thousands, not millions of people all over the world, putting their interest and their intent into this creature. And I think I would say probably close to maybe a fifth to maybe between 5 to 25% of a lot of this stuff is definitely people with an overactive imagination making up stuff. But also there are manifestations literally being made flesh due to, the people don't understand how powerful the brain is. You do, of course, but not many people really do. And I think you understand where I'm going with that. I think a lot of that is literally the thoughts made flesh, so to speak, or reality. And I think
Miss T and I have a discussion every once in a while about being able to speak into existence. The supernatural.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get that.
I mean, I think very firmly that it's like with different places that are rumored to be haunted. Of course, you have a lot of places that are. I'll give you an example. Like in Houston, I don't think the place is open anymore, but it used to be. It was called the Spaghetti Warehouse. That place is one of the most haunted places, I think, on the planet. Just the location, where the building was built. And I think even now there's like ghost hunting and stuff that goes on in that area. And the thing is, of course, you do have the paranormal and supernatural stuff that was there originally, but you have people that are legitimately wanting to see something and get, it's, when you put that much energy out, you say to yourself, you speak into existence.
All right.
I think probably a lot of that's going on,
Definitely. So what's the strangest Dogman encounter that you've come across here lately, or are you at liberty to say anything like that?
Probably the weirdest one that I've heard. I'll be honest, I actually don't hear a lot of, I hear a lot more Bigfoot stuff, really. And I've heard so much. It's mainly stuff we already know about, but I say the most interesting one would be, it was on the Dogman. It was on one of the Dogman Cams episodes. A dude named Robert Blake or something like that. I can't remember his full name, but he was the one that had, he supposedly had one as a pet.
All right.
That makes sense. That one was very entertaining. I don't know if it's real or not. I mean, I'm not at liberty to say one way or the other. But I think the most out there, and I believe the one I actually halfway believe and is just terrifying, was the one that's it was also on Dogman cams was Sancho. That one where basically they had to, when they were going across the border, they had to have a rag, I think, soaked in something that, I mean, it was urine or something that stank real bad. And the Dogman would recognize it. Yeah, that right there scared the bejesus out of me.
That was the illegal border crossings, and they were transporting illegal drugs and whatever paraphernalia across that way.
That's one. Yeah, exactly that. That right there would be the most. And as for the most recent, like I said, I've actually, as I deal with I hear it's hard to remember because I deal with so many people, each week. And I have to be careful about what I put out there to a degree too. But also, I'll be honest, recently there was someone I was talking with. They came across supposedly, it was like a baby Bigfoot or something like that, which was very interesting to me. It was fascinating, actually, the story they put behind that. But not really much in the way of Dogman. Not lately.
Not lately.
To be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of stories, but not anything really. I haven't really I would say for the last couple of months, I haven't really come across anyone who had a Dogman story too much. A lot of paranormal. But
it seems like paranormal just it comes in waves. Paranormal comes in waves. Then you got your Dogman stories that comes in waves. Or here it just seems like it's every other week. Somebody will call in with a Dogman encounter or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Most of them have been coming your way, but not really with me too much. Like I said, of course, honestly, I've been, big homies have me kind of working in other directions too. So I mean, honestly, I really haven't had much of not a choice, but a chance to focus too much on that at this moment in time. But I think, honestly, as things go on during the next few weeks, I should probably have some interesting stories, and I'll be glad to pass it on to you guys.
That's cool. Well, DW had a live stream last night, and he did the open lines format like I've been doing for the longest time, and he had his last caller was fantastic. She was from Canada. I think she was Crazy Canuck.
Yeah.
Something. I forgot what her actual screen name was, but she had some fantastic stories.
Yeah, she did. She sure did.
All right. Well, brother, I appreciate you calling in as always. Go to dogmancams.com. That's where Wes Vick is always at. He's on Dogman Cams on the Facebook, and Wes Vick at Dogman Cams is his.
If you guys want to share, you want the chance to share your stories or encounters or anything, hit me up. Believe me, I'll make sure you definitely get the chance.
All right, brother. I appreciate everything you've done for this show and for the Dark Waters family of shows. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right. See ya. All right, folks. That was Wes Vick from Dogman Cams. He's a big help on this show for chasing the truth across the board without a doubt. Okay, folks, I've been working with Audio Hijack about a problem that every time I hit a particular switch, this thing turns off. Hopefully it won't, but I'll be paying attention, and here we go, hitting that switch. And it actually is still working. Fantastic. All right, well, I can email the guy back I've been working with over at Audio Hijack that this thing's working still, or working now, so big shout out to Audio Hijack. That's how I transmit, record, and take these calls that I do online. And I wanted to give a shout out to the area code 512 from Texas. He gave us a joke. Got a joke for you. How can you tell that vampires like baseball? The answer? They turn into bats every night. Well, I like corny jokes. This is one of those things. I'm just about as corny as they come. I like corny movies. I like them all, especially that Void Cat, Bigfoot Anonymous, in the chat right there. He stars in, one of the co-stars of that. And it's a little short film that's coming out, I can't remember, end of this month, maybe the first next month. But, yeah. Void Cat, Bigfoot Anonymous. Connor Flynn stars in it, and he gave me a link. Miss T and I watched that with along with other few people who got to see it before the premiere. Excellent film. If you like cheesy, crazy, funky films that has to do with cryptids and some other stuff, that's the film to go. It's a short film. I think it's about 18 minutes long, under 20 minutes, definitely. But let's see. Give a big shout out to Emma Johnson in the chat there. Appreciate you showing up for tonight. Of course, like I said, the number to call, 931-994-6917. If you got an interesting story about anything under the sun except it has to do with the beer virus, the Colt 45, will not take those calls. And if you start talking about it, unfortunately, I'm going to have to just hang up on you. No questions asked. So appreciate it if you do follow those guidelines. And we're trying to keep the show at PG-13 level. So, like I said earlier, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I went ahead and applied for monetization for this channel, Chasing the Truth, and I got denied. I don't know why. They conveniently just said, hey, go to these rules and see which one you violated. And I was like, okay, which one did I violate? So there you go. But anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you that has subscribed. Let's see, how many subscribers do I have currently? I don't know. Let me go and check real quick while I'm thinking about it. We'll go to see how many people. I think it was 1126 earlier today. But we'll see what's going on right here. Yes, please keep it PG. Definitely one of those things that I'm trying to figure out why I got denied, because, the biggest thing is, I don't know. Other than they put me back to the list of rules and didn't say which rule I violated. I'm not exactly sure. Oracle and Beyond, hello. Texas Wokey, one man. I got a bunch more jokes like that. Oh, that was Texas Wokey that provided that bat joke. Corny as... I love corny jokes. 1.13, really? That's interesting. Hold on just a second. I got it right here. Here we go. We got another caller on the Unscreened Open Lines. Give me just a second, Unscreened Open Lines caller. And you are on the air. What's your name and where are you from?
Levi.
Levi from North Carolina?
Yes, I am.
Well, welcome back. I have been talking about you quite a bit here lately, about your...
I actually heard you talk about hearing a baby crying in the woods, and that was a crucial part of my story. Yeah. And that's the only reason I'm calling back, because I'm not, into this kind of stuff. But hold on, let me turn on the TV. I was watching your show. I don't know how far behind I am on it or whatever. But
well, I just went on there a few minutes ago, so you're not that far behind if you're hitting the live button.
Okay, so the show's over.
No, the show is going on. It's going to be going on for
Oh, my God.
2.5
There I
hours.
go again. I'm in trouble again.
Well, you're live, buddy. You are definitely live on the air.
Okay, well, I apologize for calling back in, but it just amazed me. Your wife or girlfriend, what's her name?
Miss T.
Miss T. You said she fussed at you because you didn't tell her about hearing a baby crying. You remember that was a crucial part of my, the story I told you. And I apologize for calling back in.
Oh, you are more than welcome to call in anytime, any place.
Well, I thought I should call in because there are so many things that, happen that people can't explain to other people, and, and it bothers people. And so your open forum is so good for people. And I thought the dumbest thing I can do is call back in. But when I heard you say that yesterday or a couple of days ago, I was like, he didn't tell me that you heard that too. I have a question. Was it very loud? When the baby cried, was it loud?
This is when I was about 13 or 14. Okay, it was actually probably about 5 miles from where I live now. I lived in a trailer on top of a side of a mountain, and when it was crying, it was loud enough. You're out. Literally, where I lived was nothing but woods and a highway behind me. So So crying babies, up in a hollow that shouldn't have anybody crying.
Yes. I'm not going to go back over what happened to me, but it was very loud, and I didn't think about it at the time, but that kind of bothered me because I heard a mother cooing to it and all that. And the one thing that I did not actually go into was the point that when I walked in the woods, I looked straight at these trees, and there was nothing there. And then when I looked back, there were one. Then I looked back, and there were two, but they were directly in front of me. But it was like about this time of year. It was October or so, and it was the fall of the year. So I didn't realize what I was looking at. That's why I said, pardon my Spanish, but I think I pissed them off because I think they looked at me and thought that I was being rude, but I wasn't being rude, and I've actually, I'll tell you, I might follow up on it. I've actually did a little bit of follow-up, and I have access to go back to that place. I don't think I should. I think that might be the dumbest thing I ever do in my life. But,
Well, these Sasquatch, these booger Sasquatch or Bigfoot or whatever you want to call them, they roam around. You may, those individuals that you came across back in the 90s, if my memory serves correctly, may not be there.
I was with my ex-girlfriend and a good buddy of mine because we worked the property. And, I appreciate what you said later on. You said he actually got fired for it, and I did. Because you said, well, how did they know? I said, because I told them. I said, look, we got Bigfoot up here, and they nearly flipped that trailer over on us. It was a bad day. But at the same time, I realized that I know people say things are psychic or whatever. I think that I looked straight at them, and they thought that I recognized what I was seeing, but I was too ignorant at the time to realize what I was looking at because it was right at dark, so I couldn't see. And I thought, okay, where did this tree come from? You remember me telling you this story? I couldn't make it up. I couldn't tell it twice in a different way. And then I was like, well, where did the other one come from? This 2.5 foot shorter. But one thing I never told you was that they were directly in front of me. I looked to the right, I looked to the left, but about almost complete darkness, they were directly in front of me. And so in my heart of hearts, I think that they probably wanted to reveal themselves, and they thought that I was being ugly toward them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
Well, not really.
I believe they didn't get mad at you. They probably got spooked because one, you snuck up on them. Sounds like from the story I remember.
Yes, I snuck up on them. I definitely snuck up on them. Because I'm a pretty good hunter. At least I used to be. But, I'm pretty good in the woods because I was raised from knee-high to a grasshopper. Like I told you before, my dad is 3/4 Cherokee. So, I spent a lot of times in the woods and hunting, big game, small game. I always hunted. But it's not all about me and, what could happen. But I was totally unaware. I didn't even have a clue about these creatures or people or whatever they are. I didn't have a clue. And I apologize for calling you again, but because
you don't need to apologize
your wife fussed at you, because she fussed at you, I said, I'm going to call you because you said she fussed at you because you didn't tell her about hearing the babies crying. Because I thought I was, well, actually it was 3 of us, but still I was thinking, this is the craziest story that you can tell anybody because it sounds ridiculous. But when you experience it, it's better, to tell the truth. So if anybody else experienced something, they'll at least have a heads up. Am I not right, Shawn?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You got to spread the truth out there because this stuff is out there. You know, unfortunately,
well, I'm not into this kind of stuff. But I've had some. I told you before when we talked, I've had some other things to happen, but that's for another time, and it will definitely be off the air. But I'd rather just,
I
talk
appreciate
to
you being on
straight
there.
up.
Well, yeah, you're talking to me straight up right now. I'm the same.
Always. I don't lie. I don't. I'm not a liar. I tell the truth, but it's still. It just takes all your energy to get online and talk. A lot of people are into this kind of stuff. I'm not. But things do happen to people. And anybody should respect and not call anybody a liar if something happened to them, because a lot of people don't believe and they say, oh, this person's saying this and saying that. But at the same time, a lot of times somebody's going to experience something in their lives. And so I feel like my little Bigfoot story might help some other people in case they're camping and we got the kids are out there. You got to be aware that there's other stuff going on. Am I right about that? I don't know. I think I'm right about that.
I believe you are right
because
about
you
that.
never know what's going to happen while you're out there, because I've had several other encounters and things, but I'm definitely not going to talk about it because I'm not into this kind of stuff.
If I said, please, could you tell us one of those stories? I would love to hear it.
Well, I've got several stories.
Okay, well, pick one, if you would, please.
Oh, you're not going to get me on the air talking about stuff like that. I can't do that.
All right. Well, at least I tried to ask. Pretty please.
At one point, I'll tell you about a dear friend of mine that knows about people killing a Bigfoot.
Okay. I'd love to hear that.
God's honest truth, and I'll probably be in trouble for even calling you saying that, but I know he told the truth because he told me the story 5 times. And then one day I might tell you about the farting Bigfoot.
Wow, either one. If what could I say to get you to at least tell one of those 2 stories?
Well, my ex-brother-in-law, they were at a campsite, and at 2:30 in the morning, he woke up, and this hairy person was walking around the camp. He's alive today. I know he'll be mad at me for telling this, but we talked about it. And he said, this thing walked up, put on his wife's sweater, because, they had the sweater sitting on the Cheers campsite down in Myrtle Beach. And he tried to put the sweater over his head, and he couldn't do it. And he said he just kept one eye open and watched it the whole time. Then he said he squatted down and let loose the biggest fart he ever heard in his life. Shawn, I fell off my chair laughing, but you know what? I looked back at that man, and he was terrified. His eyes were big. He said, I knew I shouldn't have told you this. And I said, no, I wasn't laughing at you. I just didn't expect you for the story to go there. The man's still alive. He knows me. And I believe him. I could be wrong. This is secondhand stuff.
Right.
But my encounters were firsthand things. And there are still things going on in Western North Carolina. And I promise you, I'll probably have to figure out a way to talk to you off the air, because I'm going back to check on some things, and I don't think probably I shouldn't. But anybody that's really out there looking for something, if you look for something, you're going to find it.
Absolutely. I've said that so many times, it's ridiculous.
Yes, if you're looking for it, I'm not looking for negativity and bad things. And I always say, where is the love? You always have to have love in your heart. If you don't have love in your heart, you got nothing. And that's a hard thing. And I'm sorry. I apologize. I knew I shouldn't have called you.
Oh,
There's something
brother.
about you I
Levi,
really like.
You do not have to apologize for calling me anytime, shape, form, or fashion. You are most welcome to call anytime, sir.
Well, I apologize, and I hope to talk to you in probably a month or so. But I will not be just calling in. I'm not that kind of person.
Okay.
And I apologize because you have a busy schedule and stuff. But I wanted to know about your old lady, your wife, being mad at you because I was like, well, wait a minute. I told him about my situation. There was a baby in the woods crying. We're going to, well, maybe another time. We'll go into that. You already know the story. But it was pretty bad because they almost flipped the trailer over. We went through a whole lot of stuff that day. And it was so powerful till I didn't have enough time to be afraid. I was just amazed. I couldn't understand what was happening. But then when I look back and I hear other stories from other people, when they call into you and other people, and then I realize those suckers are some big, powerful beings.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
I think I made one mad. And I really believe I made it mad. That's what I was saying. I was going to go burn some incense. Actually, it would be white sage. You know, I was going to go and I actually have it set up to possibly do that, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I ever will. But if I do, you'll be the first to know.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. If you do that and go back and check in that area where you spooked a couple of Bigfoot with a baby, please let me know.
And I want to check with the human beings because another thing, I'm sorry, I'm going to get off here, but I didn't tell you every dog in the neighborhood was raising heck. Did I tell you that?
I don't believe I remember that particular
I don't believe I told you that the dogs were cutting up until it said what it said. And the only other thing I want to ask you, I said there were some syllables in it, which that could be wrong, but it growled, it howled, it screamed, but there was a word in between, and I want to know if anybody else heard a language, because there was a language involved, and it was all in one single breath.
Really?
One breath, and it went on for like 12, 15 seconds, but it didn't, take a breath. It didn't stop. I didn't explain that either. When it started out with a howl, scream, then a word, then it went down to a growl. And so I don't know how that stuff, I don't know if other people can, because you got access to people that know. But this was like a 50-barrel drum chest, but it went on, and I couldn't move. I felt it in the ground. Everybody felt it in the ground. It was in my hair. And I could not. I got to say this. I could not even turn my head. If a gun go off behind you, what are you going to do, Shawn? You're going to look back, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Or duck first, then look back.
The entire time this thing went on, I couldn't turn my head. I couldn't close my mouth. I couldn't even put my left foot all the way on the ground. It just completely, it was a humbling experience. It let me know how small us humans really are, because that's what happened. I'm getting off of here because I sound like a fool. Hey, look,
no, you do
I love you, brother.
You
keep on doing what you're doing. You just keep doing what you're doing. I just wanted to call in to ask you about your wife or girlfriend getting on your butt about not telling about the baby crying, because you didn't say that to me when we talked.
All right.
I'm
do you want to
here.
stay on the air while I tell you, or are you going to take the answer off the air?
I'll take the answer out there.
Okay. All right, brother. I'll tell that story. But I appreciate you calling in as usual. Farting Bigfoot, and I'll answer the question.
You're busy. You
This
forgot
is
my
exactly-
number. You just call me when it's convenient for you. I'm not into all this, but it's just, I just love what you're doing. Brother, what you're doing is going to help a lot of people. That's the most important thing. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about what you're doing and having an open ear for people. That is a beautiful thing because so many people just don't know.
Right.
And what you're doing is helping. It's helping. And it's not about, you this or I'm that. But you have to tell the truth. If you tell the truth will stand when the world falls down. That's what some people say. But I love you, brother.
I love you too, Levi. I appreciate you. You can call back anytime you want to. All right. Thank you, sir.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye. All right, folks. Levi. Now, for those folks out there that do not recall or have not heard Levi's story, here's just a summation. This is what he's called in twice about. Levi, back in the 90s, worked for a place that worked on the next generation Star Trek models down in western North Carolina. A place unknown other than western North Carolina. And one night he was with his girlfriend at the time around a fire pit, and he heard, I think right after dusk, it was getting dark, and he heard a baby crying. And of course, that raised alarm bells. And now that he said that the dogs were going caterwauling and all kinds of crazy stuff, he went looking to see if, it was actually a real baby and, render 8 or whatever. But as soon as he got over to the tree line, got in the tree line, he spooked one Bigfoot. It stood up, looked at him, and another Bigfoot stood up and looked at him a little shorter. And apparently he got he got an eyeful and spooked them looking for a baby. And what I gather is these Bigfoot were tending to a baby and wasn't paying attention to anything. Of course, for the folks that have had babies, that pretty much engulfs your senses. One thing you got to say, well, I got to protect my baby from whatever. If it's squalling or whatever, crying, your attention's on that. And he has said, and now 3 times, that he's wanting to go back to that spot, but is kind of afraid to do that to check and see what's going on over there. But yeah, there you go. That's it about the short sum of the. I hope I did that one justice for him. But to answer Levi's question about Miss T, she's my girlfriend, but she is the love of my life without a doubt. And I say not enough, but I do say this. I have no idea why God blessed me with her, but he sure did. Now, the reason why I said she did hear the story about the baby crying when I was a teenager, but she did not hear at the time. Well, she gets on my case when I don't want to leave out details, which here recently. And I've been on talked to a few people that now that I put 2 and 2 together, my father at the time when I heard that baby crying, told my dad, my late father, about that. He said that's probably a bobcat crying. I was like, well, I've never heard of a bobcat around here, seen a bobcat around here, and I've seen bobcats since then. But at that time, that kind of sufficed me. But now that putting 2 together, that I've talked to a bunch of other people, including Vault, about some stuff I've seen in those very woods, that I heard this baby crying, which there shouldn't have been baby crying up through there. I saw a tree about the girth of it was about the size of a Coke can, pulled up by the root ball and thrown up into a bigger tree. Now, putting that together with that baby crying and knowing how these Sasquatch, boogers, Bigfoot like to mimic things, or actually have little ones of their own, kind of makes me wonder, was there a baby Bigfoot up through there? Now, the reason why that I said that Miss T probably would get mad that I didn't tell her that was I just came up with that theory just here recently, and I forgot to tell her about it. But in the past, when I don't tell her about stories and I say it out loud on the air and never told her before, she gets her dander up. Why didn't you tell me about that before, Shawn? But girth, the word girth, one-man band. Yeah, girth, yeah. Easy enough. Now, I've heard stories of where these trees is around as big as round as a Coke can. Couple 3-year-old growth trees, twisted like 8, 9, 10 feet up in the air, and broke in two and twisted and bent. And you kind of wonder, well, how in the world do you get that? It's like, is it a juvenile or adult juvenile Bigfoot just grabbing a hold of a tree and twisting it just as, is it getting angry or just doing it because they're, didn't have anything else to do? Or marking territory, or just saying, hey, I'm this strong, and possibly. But Levi, I hope that answered your question. To answer the other question about the one breath crazy language you heard, there's several stories out there about samurai language coming out of Bigfoot over in the western mountains of California, up through there. Lisa Ray said, yeah, that is why I say hi, sushi, as Hawaiian impromptu truth. Oh, okay, she's talking to impromptu. But, yeah, the samurai language, the samurai chatter, as they call it, up in the high Sierras up there, heard several other conversations, including Owlman, talk about how, their language changes when they, start interacting with these Bigfoot. Now with Owlman, I'm not exactly sure. Do I believe half of what he says? Yeah. The other half, I have no clue. Just to let you know. But there you go. Marquita Jones, hey, what's going on? But Levi, yeah, that's the chatter and the weird language stuff. They have their own language, and from what I understand, they can converse with each other. And there are backwoods stories of locals here in the mountains in Southwest Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, up in West Virginia, up and down the Appalachian spine, befriending these things and being able to converse with them, or either by sign language or some sort of weird choppy language conversation between them. Plenty of those, absolutely, without a doubt. There's one story, I think it happened in Northeast Tennessee. I'll have to ask Steve Stockton if he's in the channel or whatever. Bill Burns asked me if I have. Honestly, Michelle, I have not spoke with Owlman since the last time he called in. Partly my fault because I've not replied to him at all. It's one of those things that kind of lets stuff that has a little bit of I don't know. I just, will I have him on again? I'll definitely try to, but, he's free to call in anytime he wants to on my show. Everybody, 931-994-6917 is definitely unscreened, meaning anybody that's got a telephone, whether you got one of those old rotary phones or one of those little touch tone phones or one of these smartphones or a flip phone or whatever phone, if it's connected to the internet, you can reach out Skype, Chasing Truth 2018, or you can text that number, 931-994-6917, as the fellow, I'm assuming it was a fellow, as the person from Texas gave us a joke about the vampires and bats. That was rich. I like that. I love cheesy stuff. But Levi, I appreciate you calling in. You don't have, I don't know why in the world he kept apologizing, but that is just one of those incredible fellows that I'd love to just sit down and, as we say around here, chew the fat with. I'd love to chew the fat with him for a couple hours, easy. See more about that farting Bigfoot story. A farting Bigfoot story. Did it grunt, or was that samurai chatter, or whatever he was talking about? Was that here, pull my finger in the samurai chatter? I don't know. That's just me being out there. But this is Halloween Open Lines, Halloween Unscreened Open Lines. If you want to call in and, story, or just say, hey, I'm from XYZ Texarkana. Definitely call in that. And oh, wow. Wait a minute. Hold on just a second. Hopefully it says that I'm disconnected. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Hopefully. Oh, here we go. We're reconnected. I apologize. I don't know what's going on with my internet here. Well, that's weird. Why is that stopped? All that stopped? Well, anyway, for the Paranormal Radio app, it looks like something's going on, but we'll see. Yeah, everything's going now. Sorry for the delay for whatever it is. It says I got excellent connection now. I don't know. But my OBS studio went offline for whatever reason for a couple of seconds. I apologize for that. And it's just one of those things. The technical difficulties do come around. Dragon ZW, hey brother. How you feeling, buddy? Ghost watching moon shadows. Yeah, today is Hunter's Moon. Well, it was at 10:57 Eastern Time. And 9:57 Central and 7:57 over on the left coast. But, yeah, Lisa Ray, sorry about that. The OBS studio looked like it disconnected for whatever freaking reason. Maybe I need to update the daggone thing or something. I think there's a new update. I'll have to go look and see if I can find it. But, yeah, hopefully we won't have anything. Dark Woods, what's going on, brother? And, yeah, let's see what we got in the chat here. I'll sound for a few seconds. Yeah, hopefully it's all good. So good to go. We're 5x5. Hello, Juanita. Excuse me. Didn't mean to do that on live on air like that. Turn on your post notifications. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a few people I have subscribed to and hit that bell for all notifications. I still don't get the freaking notifications from YouTube for whatever reason. I don't know if I'm a bad boy or whatever, but they don't send me some notifications. Heads up, hey. Like for Mogyon Monsters show last night, I didn't get a notification. Only way I knew was I was hunting and pecking. Oh, we got a new caller. Give us just a second to get this caller on the line. Unscreened caller, give me just a second to get you on the air. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, unscreened caller, you are live on the air. Where are you from and what's your name?
Hi, Shawn. My name's Chris from...
Hey, Chris. From where?
Boise, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho. Okay, what good story you got to say today? Chris, thanks for calling in,
well,
by the way.
The highway, and it's really taken my mind for a loop.
Okay.
Now that I've done my own research for a little while, it seems like it's making a little more sense, but I'm still not convinced what it is. Let me kind of walk you through it a little bit.
Okay, go right ahead.
Old friend of mine, he lives over in Helena, Montana. Sorry, I'm nervous right now. Let me get my throat cleared.
All right. Well, no sense in being nervous. You're just talking to me. So.
Yep.
And I'm definitely not something to be nervous about. That's for sure.
No, just the whole situation with it just is still weird for me.
Okay.
But yeah, so my friend in Montana, he had called me. He has a lot of problems with alcohol, and he was having some suicidal thoughts. And so, we were asking about things. Seemed like we kind of got things cleared up, and I thought it'd be in my best interest to make a surprise visit. Like, I need to go see him. It's irritating. So
get a little closer to that microphone. You're a little muffled.
I'm sorry.
There. That's all right.
Sorry. So yeah, went to go see my friend the next day. Got all my house in order and just bailed out to see him. Left my house at like 7 o'clock at night. Drove for 3 hours and made it to it's a little tiny hot spring, Libby hot spring. in the central Idaho. Stayed the night there. I got there like midnight and slept for like 3 or 4 hours in this little trailer. Woke back up the next morning and hit the highway. And how do you put it? So windshield clear, brand new headlights, like everything's nice and clean. And I saw this thing on the side of the road. It looked
Chris,
like
you are awful muffled, buddy. I can barely understand what's going on with your audio.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll have to speak up.
All right.
So what I saw was like, it was hairy. It looked like just a wide set of shoulders, basically. The color of it was like an elk, I would say. And, I've seen elk, I've done hunting, I know all those things.
Okay, Chris, honestly, I cannot, I'm going to catch about every 2 or 3 words that you're saying. Is there another phone you can call from or get a better signal from wherever you're calling from?
Sorry about that. I always get this bad reception at my place.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, just let me know again if it gets any better or worse.
Okay.
But so yeah, I've seen this big hairy thing on the side of the road. Basically, I would describe it as like a set of shoulders, like a set of football pads, without the head of a person inside them, and you drape them with the pelt of an elk, then it would start making sense visually. Like you could see the hair, it was draped over shoulders, but there was no clear head. It looked like the shoulders just sloped down and were like big round shoulders.
Okay, the audio is just absolutely terrible on my end. So,
all right, Shawn, let me. I'm sorry.
It sounds like a great story about Bigfoot on the side of the road, but honestly, it's hard for me to understand you. I'm sure the folks that are trying to listen in is probably more so.
Yeah, I completely understand. Let me get my phone clear back. I'll call another time.
Okay, I appreciate it, brother.
Sorry, Shawn. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. All right. Well, there you go. Unfortunately, the gremlins are in the mix, unfortunately, with Chris from Boise, Idaho. Chris, I appreciate you trying to call in and sharing your Bigfoot story, but that audio was just absolutely atrocious. I don't know what's going on with that, but I appreciate you giving the effort. It sounded like it was a fantastic story, but I wanted to be able to, hear it for myself and, give those folks the ability to, hear it at least. And again, unscreened open lines, 931-994-6917. Again, let me say that real slow. 931-994-6917 is the number to call to get online with me, unscreened, and talk about whatever story you want to talk about other than the beer virus, the Colt 45 thing. We just don't want to talk about that and try to keep it PG. Folks, that's just what I want to let you know. I'm trying to keep it PG because some powers that be at the old, what do you call it, YouTube? Yeah, YouTube. Didn't monetize my channel for some odd freaking reason. I don't know. They give me a reason other than, here, go by the rules again. Okay. Well, anyway, apparently my mouth was a little bit too salty before. I don't know. That's the only thing I could come up with. But here you go. Unfortunately. Well, I'm going to keep on doing this daggum thing anyway. All right, folks. So since I had to cut that call a little short because of audio reasons, yeah, try Skype. Skype is a good one. Sounded like he was on, not everybody's got these little smartphones hooked up to the internet. But, if he does, try Skype. Chasing the True 2018 Skype. Chasing the True 2018. Oh, wait a minute. We got another caller. Give me just a second, caller, to get you on air. In 3, 2, 1. You are on the air. Where are you from and what's your name?
My name is Bigfoot Anon, and I'm from the swamp. What's up?
Hey, brother, the Void Cat Star. What's going on?
Yes. How'd you like the movie?
Cheesy. I liked it. A little. It was just cheesy. as soon as I said, "Hey, this is going to be a cheesy," yeah, it's going to be a cheesy movie, and it was hilarious. The ending was hilarious. Loved it.
Heck yeah, it's definitely a mind bender at the end, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You looked a little buzzed in the video. Just to let you know, that was kind of one of the cheesier points of view that I said. He looks like he's buzzed.
Yes, I was a little bit buzzed, a little bit cursed, and a little bit entranced. You know, I watched it with my mom, and she was like, "What the heck are you doing, Connor?" And it was definitely the reaction I was going for. I'm super proud of it, and it's definitely aiming for like that VHS vibe, and I think we definitely struck gold with it. I'm so excited for a live audience, and I just messaged Jack today, the director, and I was like, dude, you should bring the idol, the structure, to the movie release, and I'll break you out into character, and it will be even more meta than before. It would be legendary.
Oh, man. So what have you been up to research-wise here lately?
Oh, man, yesterday I did a scouting mission at Bellamy Bridge with the walking legend, this dude that walks all around the panhandle. But this weekend, Stacy Brown and James Brost from Outcast Paranormal, he was on Mogion's show last night. He's coming to town, and they're coming to the Bellamy Bridge, the most haunted bridge in the state of Florida. And I'm super excited to kind of lead the expedition and give them the tour and the history. And yesterday I had to make sure we could actually get to the bridge because a couple parts were flooded. And it was actually hard to get back from there. Like I kind of got a little lost. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow or Saturday night when it's all going to be dark and just vibey out there. And Stacy's bringing a bunch of cool tech and gear. And we're going to have an official cameraman, the guy that made the Void Cat, Jack McClellan.
Oh, yeah.
So everything's coming together. I'm just so excited. And then and it's an all night thing. And then the next day, Flat Rock Booger and I have a Bigfoot festival in Pace, Florida that we have a vendor table at. So I think I'm going to have to bring the table and all my gear in my car, and I'm going to go straight from the swamp to the festival. And hopefully no one steals my books from my table when I catch a few Z's in between, the contest and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, give me a little back history of this Bellamy Bridge you plan on going to look at.
Yes. Well, first of all, the soil has been stained by war and a bunch of crime in the past. But in the 1800s, Elizabeth Bellamy, on her wedding day, she was in her wedding dress, and she leaned against a candle and caught on fire. And then she ran outside her house and dove into the river. But she was so badly burned that she ended up passing away. And she told her husband, "I'll forever be with you." And, she's been spotted and seen ever since. And historians have kind of dove in to the legend. And some people say that she died of malaria. And then it was just as tragic and bad and painful. And then her daughter ended up passing away. And then the husband ended up ending his life at the Chattahoochee Mounds. So I think there's blood sacrifice at the ancient mounds and structures, but then there's just a sad little family ghost story. But it's beautiful that she still shows herself every year. And every October, the Two Egg TV, these local historians, they hire one of the theater actresses to play Elizabeth, and she gives the whole monologue and tells the story out there during the hunt. Sorry, I had like a burp at mid-speech. But
that's all right.
Live and unscreened, guys. Bigfoot, Anon, and the farting Sasquatch and the burping investigator.
Hey, there you go.
But yes. But a lot of investigators have went out there. The Emerald Coast Paranormal team has gotten a lot of strange pictures and vibes, and I actually recorded a whoop out there. So of course I'm going to get the vibes of Elizabeth and pay my respects, but I'm going for the skunk ape, of course, and trying to just research more of the swamp. And it was really cool yesterday getting to go to a lot of spots that all the flooded areas kind of wiped out. So got to go into some uncharted terrain, and I left a few offerings of donuts. So it's going to be exciting to kind of follow up. And and see what's going on. But if anybody is really interested in Bellamy Bridge, I've made a few videos there, but there is an Amazon Prime documentary about it as well.
Oh, okay.
I forget what it's called, but if you just search Bellamy Bridge, you'd definitely be able to find it, because it's a mecca over here for paranormal hot spots and just oddities. And the whole Chipola River is known for weird stuff because the Sweetwater River, a bunch of Native Americans were set up along there. So there's been spearheads and even like fossils of rhinoceros skulls and saber-tooth remnants and mammoth bones. So it's just very sacred, and I can't wait to share it with all these other outcasts. And I might, bring some crazy potions, and I know a couple other people are going to bring like candles and stuff for rituals. So it's going to be pretty exciting, and it should be awesome content. My biggest worry is how am I going to get my GoPro to show it well at night? So I could deal with that. The rest will just fall into place. I'm just so excited, and it's my favorite time of the year, October and the Halloween season, and then just keeping myself busy with all the weird oddities that I try to get into throughout the week just to keep myself sane. Earlier today, I was on Into the Fray radio with Shannon LeGros, who is like, I don't want to say a mentor, but she's awesome. Like I look to her as inspiration because she was part of the Small Town Monsters documentary, On the Trail, Dark Skies, and she's really wise, man. She was following up with a bunch of psychedelic questions, asking me about DMT. It was phenomenal, and she also runs a publishing company too, and as an author, that was a very important conversation today. So I think big things are coming in the future, and I'm super excited, and it was all thrown together last second, like I love it, and just beautiful things happen. And I'm about to go on a little nighttime investigation just to check out these couple trailers that are really well known to me, but I just like to soak in the vibes from the full moon. So I just want everybody to run with positivity and break the bubbles of vulnerability and insecurity, because they just try to hold us back. The gatekeepers are shivering now, guys. We are the light, and the veil is thin. So just wake up and show love, and carry that orange and that red, that electricity. Keep away from the dark and the blue. Keep away from the fear and all the hatred. Just show love, guys. And this is a beautiful place. Guys, have a good one. Keep chasing the truth. Shawn, you're awesome. Miss T, you're even better.
Oh yeah, she's the better of the two of this couple, that's for sure. But I appreciate you calling in, Connor Flynn. Definitely go watch for the Void Cat. When's that premiere?
Yes, it comes out October 31st, live and direct. I'm not sure actually streaming, because if we put it on YouTube, which we're not going to do, it disqualifies us from a bunch of film festivals. So we have to be kind of choosy with how we release it. But if you're fam to me, then I'm fam to you, and I can definitely hit you on the email with a little pre-screener. And hit up Jack McClellan, everybody, and tell him you need Connor Flynn in every movie, because we just got to keep the ball rolling. But I might need a haircut or got to get contacts or something, because I'm that character in that universe. But it's about to get so much crazier. And if you enjoy the Void Cat, check out his movie Lost and Found, because it's like a brother and sister movie, and it's about to get weird. The feature-length movie, we're going to find out who made those structures and who put the curse on your boy. So I'm super excited. Shawn, thanks again, and thanks for watching the movie, man. That thing is like my little baby, so it was fun. It was fun.
I love cheesy movies, and that was definitely one of them. All right, brother.
And watch it back a few more times too, because there's a lot of foreshadowing, and you'll pick up on a lot of stuff. Just look at my shirt; it says the whole thing. But I love it. But just gotta end it with chow time, y'all. Chow time. All right,
brother. Take care. All right, that's Connor Flynn from Bigfoot Anonymous. Stars are he was on stage. He did do some work with some bands in the past, but. Definitely a Bigfoot researcher, Bigfoot cryptid researcher, paranormal supernatural researcher, Connor Flynn, Bigfoot Anonymous. You can find him on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and I don't know if he's on any other platforms, but he's definitely super excited. He's got some energy that I wish I could mimic it at least for a few minutes. I'd probably pass out if I tried to do that. But that's definitely something that one of those fantastic. All right, sorry about that, folks. That was my fault. I hit the wrong button yet again. I was going over here to hit this one. I hit the red switch, but we're back. I apologize for the folks over on the Paranormal Radio app and over on YouTube. Unfortunately, reasons. And no, I'm not drunk or anything like that. I've got enough caffeine to light up a neighborhood in me, but Lisa Ray must get an autograph. There you go, buddy. Yeah, Dragon ZW, give me a call. Let me know what's going on with you, buddy. 931-994-6917 if you want to be a part of this show and be a part of the Chasing the Truth alumni that calls in. That's a ever-growing list of folks. Ever-growing. Give a shout-out to a couple of people that join in. Keith King, what's going on? Says, he's young, Shawn, lots of energy. Yeah, he's got a lot of energy for sure. Seems like, well, I used to be young. I guess I'm still young if you call 51 young. Almost 52, getting up there in the age. Some days I feel okay, and some days I feel like I'm a few thousand years old, if not bigger or older. But who else is in here that snuck in while I was on the phone? Jawing, as we say down here in the South. Let's see. Laura Elizabeth. Hey, welcome back. Seen you on a couple of live stream chats here in the past. Let's see. Juanita, I already said hello to. Long Island Bigfoot. Hey, buddy. What's going on? Have you got any interesting encounters as of late? And then Bass Mayhem's in the house there. Holy cow. Lots of energy. Definitely lots of energy. John G, can you play the video of which snake are we talking about, Bass? The one with, well, hold on a second. I have to find that. If that's that one or that, the crazy long-ass snake. Oh, okay, Dragon. Well, I'll say a prayer for you, brother, about you hacking and stuff. A cold. Oh, my God. You know, it is the season to have a cold. And thank God I do not have a cold. For whatever reason, my allergies have not been so bad. Now, my phantom pain, if you know what phantom pain is, has been off the charts lately. It's just one of those things that just drives me nuts. But I think my old leg that I lost 6 years ago has come back to try to haunt me, saying, hey, remember me? Yeah, you won't let me forget you. This one-legged podcaster / radio host. My snake is over on the hub. Okay, let me see if I can find that snake video that Bass was talking about. Let me see. I can probably... I have to go log into Facebook. And let's see, who shared that with me? I have to find that real quick. And I'll have it up on the screen if I can find it. Well, first thing I see is Vault of Nightmares. Wes Vick stuff, Messenger. I think I got it on Messenger somewhere. But yeah, if you want to be a part of the show, call in 931-994-6917. And definitely come. Oh, no, that's not it. I thought Ball of Nightmares sent it to me, but that wasn't Ball of Nightmares. Maybe I got in text message. Probably. Let me see if I got in text message. Let's see. Text message. Hard to say. Oh, yeah. I've got a couple videos to show you. I don't know if I can show that YouTube. Yeah, I'll try not to. But there's a lot of YouTube. If you like paranormal, say the top fives, let's see. Where's the last one? Slap Tam. Slap Tam does a lot of these where shows these webcams or security cams of crazy disappearing walking figures. And I'm going to tell you the truth on this one. Definitely tell you the truth, because I've been working with IR, infrared, night vision cameras professionally when I was in the hospital work with doing sleep lab stuff. And now I've got my own IR cameras. I can tell you right now, a lot of those videos that they show that say, hey, is this a ghost? No, that's video compression. I'll show you one of those here in just a second. Hold on just a second. Let me do that one. I can't find that video, Bass. I apologize about the one with the long-ass snake. That thing was huge, without a doubt. Let's go over here to Safari. Yeah, there you go. I hope you like that skull thing. I really do like that skull thing. I may keep that for a little while longer, past the Halloween season. But let me see. Where did I put this up at? Nope, that's not it. Here we go. All right. All right, folks. This is actually from my front door camera. At night, I think this is 2:05 a.m. and 58 seconds. It was from 2021 on the 11th of 6/11 of this year at 2:05 and 58 seconds a.m. So anyway, you've seen all these crazy compression videos, these videos where they say, is this something? Is somebody phasing in and phasing out? Nope. It's actually this kid I've seen walk up and down my street quite a bit. So I know this dude's real, but look, watch this thing. Just to let you know, you can see him phase in and phase out. This is called a compression artifact. You can see he's invisible there with just, looks like he's looking at his phone and the phone's illuminating his face. And then he kind of scrub forward. He looks like he's invisible, and then he turns his light on. Yeah, I think what he was doing, he was turning on his light. I wonder why he turned on his phone light. Don't know. But you can see right there, that's compression. You see all these videos, which they look fantastic. The reason why I did this, DW sent me one, said, hey, look at this. And it was similar to this. It would look like some black shadow figure coming out of one side of a road, out of a bush, and walking across into the other side, and kind of phased in and phased out. And I showed him this. He said, yeah, I see. So that's the reason why I showed this. Just to let you know. We'll play it forward one more time so you can see. You know, he phases in, phases out, phases back in. But yeah, that's compression video artifact all day long, folks. So when you see those kinds of ghost videos out there, even though they're spectacular to look at, it's just digital artifact. That's all that is. Just to let you guys know. So let's see. Do you have any questions about that? I've seen it all the time. Seen it quite a bit in the sleep lab. We had some fantastic cameras. I had a camera that was made by Sony that had super zoom on it. I could sit there. I remember being in my office, remoting into that camera, which was on the other side of the sleep lab, and no windows, you know, in my office there. And I would remote in and point the camera out to the outdoors just so I could see something happen outside and see a blue sky, even though it was digital. So, Lisa Ray, there was nothing there. There was, let me pop this back on. There was nothing there other than that kid phasing in and phasing out. That's walking down the street there. Can you see him? Phase in, phase out. All you can see is two dots there. And then he moves forward a couple of steps, turns on his flashlight from his phone. And he phases in and phases out until he becomes solid at the end. There's so many videos out there that, you know, obviously a lot of people want to show some content. Security Cam D-Nuts, that is a security cam. It's actually a Ye Home Camera security cam. And I've got 11 of them, so I can tell when somebody gets on my property, no doubt about it. But that is called compression artifact. When, that's one of the things, that's why their files are so small with the .mp4s I've got saving them. But that's why you can have these things uploaded to the internet and be able to see an alert from across the world. If you've got the remote into the access to a particular camera. But there are so many videos out there that says, is this a ghost? Or what is the catchphrase that a lot of people say? We'll never know. The question will be unanswered because we can't get the answer, or some shit like that. Well, anyway, I just wanted to show you that. This is part of Chasing Truth, and sometimes you got to debunk a couple of things. And this is actually my personal video. And this kid has walked up and down my street. I don't know why in the world he was on the street at 2 o'clock in the morning. But, yeah, there you go. Looks like he's got a backpack on. But, I've seen so many videos. If I posted that on my own channel and said, hey, what is this? See what the consensus was, me knowing that it was video compression. I wonder how many people say, yeah, that was a ghost. I don't know. That's interesting. Do you think that would be ghost video? Dragon ZW says, not a ghost in chat. All right. Anyway, this is Unscreened Open Lines, and I just wanted to show you a couple of things there. Let's go to another Phantoms of Monsters. PhantomsofMonsters.com. The unholy sized wolf stalks military camp near Ketchikan, Alaska. I know where Alaska is. I don't know where Ketchikan is. Group of National Guardsmen are stationed. This is dated October 19th, which was yesterday, 2021. Online stricklers, phantomsandmonsters.com. Unholy sized wolf stalks military camp near Ketchikan, Alaska. A group of National Guardsmen are stationed near Ketchikan, Alaska, that are soon confronted by an unholy sized wolf that has been stalking the camp. The paw prints were said to be the size of a pie plate. Wow, that's pretty good size. Following account was recently forwarded to me. Lon copies and pastes. It was the winter of 1997, I believe. I was living in Ketchikan, Alaska, and serving the National Guard as a 11B. I loved it. As some may know, a joint task force between the branches of the military began working on building a road on nearby island, Net Island. This was the fulfillment of a 50 or so year treaty the U.S. made with the sovereign Indians in, Metlakatla. Well, anyway, I butchered that for sure. This was a big project that I believe finished in 2007. Anyways, the Marines spent the first summer building the HQ. Okay, to jump forward. Well, me and my 5 other members of my unit were called to active duty. We were tasked with living on the island for the winter and protecting the camp. Apparently, local natives youth would hop from island to island, vandalizing vacant logging camps and such. This was classified as a training mission. For budget purposes, it seemed like it would be a good time. 6 months into the winter, on a remote island, living in a plywood hut. Sounds like a good time, folks. I guess. At first, things were somewhat rocky. There was only going to be 4 or 5 of us on the island at a time, with a weekend rotation every 2 or 3 weeks for 1 or 2 of us. It took a couple of months before we had a real generator or propane to cook with. So we lived on MREs, 3 meals a day. Well, I don't know. Those are pretty high calorie, high salt intake. I don't know. I guess you probably get tired of those with the new ones. For quite some time, the worst was that there was only one outhouse in the entire camp, which was a place a few hundred yards from the camp. To make it even worse, the Native Americans, for whatever reason, declared that the ground sacred and we were not allowed to relieve ourselves on it. That means if we needed to go take a leak or drop the keys or whatever. Oh, we've got a unscreened caller. Unscreened caller, give me just a second. Get you on, live on there, and you are live on there. What's your name and where are you from?
Hey, Shawn, this is Jeremiah from the Bigfoot Society Podcast. How's it going?
What's your first name? I'm sorry.
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, what's going on? Bigfoot Podcast Society.
Yeah.
Bigfoot Society Podcast.
Yeah, the Bigfoot Society Podcast. Yeah, my friend Connor Flynn said I should call in and say what's up. Bigfoot Anonymous. So, you know.
Yeah, he was just on
cool
there.
Dude.
Just
he's a good dude.
Awesome. Have you ever figured out how he's also always energetic like that?
I don't know, but if we could bottle up some of whatever Connor has, I think we could make $1 million or more. I mean that guy, I've had him on my show, and we had a good time. So.
Oh, definitely. He's just one of those guys that I wish I could catch his enthusiasm and his energy level at least for a few hours a day. So
for sure. So watching some scary videos tonight. What were we doing?
Well, open lines, unscreened open lines. I just had a few things to jump into if I had to fill some dead space, but every once in a while I have to fill dead space, so I had a few things there. I was debunking the compressed video stuff that you see and posted on so many YouTubers that come through and saying, hey, is this a ghost or is this not a ghost? And show video. Usually it's doorbell ring cameras that they post and show these people walking down the street and they kind of disappear at one end or never fully form on the actual video. And I said, hell, I've got plenty of that video. I know exactly what it is. I've been messing, professionally with IR low light cameras in sleep labs for a good 15 years. I know exactly what it is. So I showed that and I said, hey, this is compression video. This is an artifact. This is not a ghost. This is a real life human. It's just digitally it compresses to where the background is compressed into nothing. The guy, the guy kind of blends into the background more or less. That's all it is.
Hey, I got to ask you, so me being a cryptozoology and Bigfoot guy, what are you doing for St. Patty's Day today? Doing anything cool?
Say that one more time. You kind of glitched out there.
You doing anything? So today is the anniversary of the Patterson-Gimlin film. Are you doing anything cool?
Actually, I did not know today was the Patterson-Gimlin film.
That's it, yeah, October 20th.
Nope, I haven't. Other than I had a story from Levi from North Carolina about a farting Bigfoot and addendum on his encounter with a crying Bigfoot and its parents over in North Carolina.
I love it. Yeah, I just got done talking to Mr. Daniel Perez from the Bigfoot Times newsletter, and he's a pretty cool guy to talk to. He's going out to the film site, and they're doing all sorts of scientific experiments to see exactly how tall Patty was, and they've got the same camera that was used. They've got the same lenses. They've got the same film. So that should be really cool to see what his results are from his experiment. But yeah,
didn't they already do that in a past documentary? Didn't they already do that in a past documentary?
They may have tried, but he's got the exact film, and he's trying to figure out exactly what lens. They had about 3 or 4 different lens types they were using. So definitely get some more specific details this time around. And also they're clearing out the brush to make sure that the film site was cleared out and able to still be seen. They've got to do that every year, preventative maintenance. So, yeah. So I just wanted to, actually, I got to ask you, what's your favorite cryptid?
My favorite cryptid? Oh, gee whiz. Probably boogers. Bigfoot. That was what my grandmother always got us in, at dusk or a little after dusk saying, hey, the booger's going to get you when I was a kid. And I never knew exactly what the booger was until later on. I was like, oh, that's what that was. And, in hindsight, I either, was just a couple days behind a Bigfoot, real right in my backwoods. Literally, I was up and down those woods all
Wow.
the time. There was one instance where, I can remember when I was in my early teens, going up on the side of a mountain and seeing, Coke can sized girth of a tree pulled up by the root ball and thrown up into a bigger
Okay.
tree.
Wow.
I kind of filed 13,
Oh,
put that in the back
man.
of my mind, saying, "What is that? What could have done that?" And I was like, "Well, there was some logging going around, but nothing near where I lived at all." And then later on, pretty close to that time, I heard a baby crying up in a hollow. And there was nobody
Yeah.
up in through there. And I told my dad, my late dad, about that, and he said, "Oh, that's probably a bobcat." And now that I, doing this, radio show podcast that I do, and talking to all of these Bigfoot experiencers and researchers.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I think about it, I was like, with just the evidence of, that tree and root ball thing up in a bigger tree, that could have been something else other than a bobcat.
That's crazy stuff. Was that in the North Carolina area? Or?
No, that's actually in Southwest Virginia, about maybe 5 miles from where I am right now.
Okay, cool. Wow, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to definitely check out some of your shows if you're interviewing witnesses, and that sounds pretty cool. But
oh man, you never know what you get on these things. Vol Nightmares have been on this so many times. I've had let's see, Linda Godfrey was on my show a couple years ago.
Yeah, from Wisconsin. Yep, very cool.
She's
very
fantastic. Cool. Sorry that she's kind of not up with it with her health here lately. God bless her, but she was fantastic to talk to. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I met her 1 year at the Van Meter Visitor Festival in Van Meter, Iowa, and she's the nicest lady you'll ever meet. She's so fun. So a great little festival.
Very genuine to me. Very, very genuine.
Oh yeah. Well, I just wanted to stop by and say hi real quick. If any of you, I'll definitely check out your stuff. And if you guys like interviews with personalities in cryptozoology, like Cliff Barackman and different people like that, I've got all sorts of cool interviews that I do on the Bigfoot Society podcast, and I've got that on YouTube too. But yeah, I'll chat with you later, man. Have a good one.
Appreciate you.
You got it.
All right. Thanks. Wow. There you go. Interesting. You never know what you get when you have these unscreened open lines, folks. Never know what you get, for sure. Thank you, Connor, for having that fellow call me. That's impressive. Let's write that down. Bigfoot Society. All right, folks. Again, this is 931-994. Well, we got another caller here. Oh, okay. Yeah. Caller, unscreened caller, you are on the line. Unfortunately, I did not mute the ring real quick, but where are you from and what's your name?
Hey, Shawn. My name is Ethan. Nice to meet you. I'm from Tallahassee, Florida.
Ethan, what's going on? Tallahassee, Florida.
What's up, man? Oh, yeah. Nice to meet you. I'm good friends with Connor, actually. I don't know if you're familiar with the Lost and Found and Void Cat.
Oh, yeah. I actually seen the Void Cat film.
Yeah, I was
hilarious.
I was the sound engineer on set for that, so I did the music and the Foley and all that good stuff. Connor wanted me to pop by and say hey to you, meet you. I'm actually not really into any of the crypt. I have no knowledge of anything of the sort, but I can tell you, Connor has single-handedly turned me into a skeptic. On top of, I've been keeping tabs on his videos and watching his TikToks and everything, and they're awesome. But I took him out back while we were shooting Void Cat because the director had gone down the road to the store for a second, and we, he grabbed his camera and I grabbed my microphone and I just took him back to all the trails behind the shooting location, rivers and crazy stuff. We go back there and he starts talking about this energy and he's showing me different techniques. The pulling the camera behind the back. I'm sorry, what's that called? Back cam footage?
Other than back cam footage, that's about all I know.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, all right. Yeah. I'm recording and everything, and we go up and we see the gardener on site. He comes swinging by, and he's just chilling. We come up and talk to him for a second, and he starts telling us about just some weird stuff he's seen happen. And in the middle of us talking, what sounded like a tree, an entire pine tree falling, probably about 100 yards away, just cracked down.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of my tipping point. I was like, okay, wait a minute, something's going on here.
So you're a skeptic, or did you, are trying to get out of being a skeptic?
No, not at all. It's piqued my interest for sure.
Okay, all right. So did you guys go look for this fallen tree that you heard?
We walked over there, but didn't immediately see anything. I'm not sure where you're from. The forests down here in Florida, they are thick, real thick. So walking back there would have been a death trap.
Oh yeah, you get all kinds of interesting creatures through there, including alligators. I don't know how close you are to a waterway there, but
they'll go walking across the road right in front of you. They don't even care.
Do they really taste like chicken?
Yeah. You can actually get pretty much any seafood restaurant down here. You can get an order of gator tail.
Oh, cool!
Everywhere.
Awesome.
Have you ever been down here?
Yeah, I've been to Panama City Beach. I can tell you how many times. It's a beautiful state. Beautiful state.
Oh, it is. But hey, man, I'm about to take it in for the night, but I just wanted to call in and say it was nice to meet you, man.
Oh, I appreciate you, Ethan. I appreciate you calling in and telling that little short story.
Yeah, man. Hey, you guys have a great night. Be safe.
You too. Be safe. Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Ethan, down in Tallahassee, Florida, the sound engineer for Voidcat, calling in and telling about a fallen tree that both Bigfoot Anonymous and himself witnessed, or heard at least. Well, witnessing and hearing the same thing, right? All right. That's interesting for sure. Seven Pearl says, Shawn, really enjoy you at Moggs. Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Mongolian Monster is just definitely, Moggs is definitely one of those, Mogollon Monster is definitely one of those fellows that, he's one of those laid-back souls that's easy to talk to, friendly. He definitely helped me get over 1,000 subscribers for sure. 1,000 subscribers. Without a doubt. He and his followers, his family, the Mogs family over there, good people. 100% straight up good people. But, yeah, holy cow. We were up to, well, let's see, that was the 6th caller for tonight. And we've got 15 minutes till the top of the hour. Well, 14 minutes. And this is Chasing Truth. Shawn G is at the helm here. We're doing unscreened open lines, meaning your topic is my topic. So we got another caller calling in right now. Okay, unscreened open lines caller. Give me just a second, get you on the air, and you are on the air. What's your name and where are you from?
Hey, what's up, brother? My name is Mike. I'm from
Mike, you're from where? You kind of broke up at the end of that. Hello? Going once, Mike. Going
Hey,
twice.
sorry, I paused it somehow. So my name is Mike from Long Island. How you doing?
Long gone, good. What's going on with you on this anniversary of the the film?
I'd hate to be a cliche, but Connor sent me.
Oh, okay. Long gone.
Yeah, I got a message. He said, yeah, come check in and just talk. So I figured I'd come in and just say hi and support your channel, brother. It's real cool what you're doing.
All right, appreciate you calling in, brother.
Yeah. So I was actually just listening to what the guy said before about what your favorite cryptid was, and that's always a good. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I didn't grow up in a place where people talked about it or people know about it. Mm-hmm. So I found that intriguing that you said that, like, your your family would tell you, you know, be careful, the booger will get you, whatever. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, around here, it's kind of not spoke about. Like, it's like an unknown thing. And I believe it's just because the same reason I didn't think it would be around my area is because, like I always tell everyone, I was actually planning a trip to the Pac West when I had my sighting here. And, you know, it's kind of weird. So that's kind of been my main mission, is well, it was for quite a while. Now I've expanded into my own journey, but it was to show like how Sasquatch could be in suburbia.
Wow. Connor says to ask him about Bubba.
Yeah, well, that's, for lack of a better word, that's my main man. Like, that's my Sasquatch teacher, if you will. That's like, it's hard to talk about sometimes because, like, I never really know which way people go, but I just talk openly anyway. But if it never happened to me, I wouldn't talk about it. But I have direct, like, contact with him via mind speak, via visions, you know, things to that effect. And that's who I have contact with when I have questions, when I have, you know, things that are passed along to me that I need to carry out, or a message I need to pass along, or whatever. That's where it comes from, is that particular Sasquatch. I know a lot of people that say, oh, I have connections to, like, you know, the universe. I have connections to all these Sasquatch, or I go out and I meditate. Like, that's the only one that comes through for me is through him. So I'm pretty sure that's why
Bubba is a Sasquatch. Am I getting the story straight?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. He's yeah. It is, honestly, it is cool. It's a little hard to talk about sometimes, but it is what it is, you know.
So what's Bubba's idea about humans?
You know, he wants me to be an ambassador between peoples, is what he wants me to be. I told him he had the wrong fucking guy, and he just kept repeating himself and telling me that this is what it is, man. You know what I mean? Like, you're just gonna do it. And I really didn't have much choice. I could have basically turned it down or, you know, continued the journey, but that was as far as I was gonna get with him. It was either accept or deny, you know. So I accepted, and regardless of what I was getting or what I needed to share, I was doing it. And I continue to this day, but it's you know, it's not always an easy task to go public. Like, I mean, you know, you're sitting here doing a live show. It's not, that's not a comfortable thing for me to be in the public necessarily. You know, like, I'm more of a shy, like, laid back, you know, individual. So I was like, no, bro, like, you got the wrong guy. Like, I'm not going to take this to the masses. You know what I mean?
So when you contact this Bigfoot Bubba, does it drain you when you contact him, or is how do you feel during and after this contact?
It was contacting him is kind of hard. It doesn't always work that way.
Okay.
But when he does come through to me, it's gotten a lot easier. In the beginning, the mind speak and the visions and everything, and anything that came through would drain me to the point where I'd be in tears when a vision came through. I mean, like, bawling, crying, like, you know, and like, I'd lose all control of my nervous system. You know, when I'd get messages or mind speak, it was very, very draining. And then it just became, I guess I could say, more natural and more normal. And it's been less of a drain factor. But you know, it's still kind of hit or miss. Like, I haven't found a good way to fine tune it yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Wow. So a lot of people always say, like, oh, go ask or leave a note and, like, write this. And I mean, I've tried it all. You know, like, sometimes it's just on their terms. You know what I mean? It's not. It's just kind of the way it goes. At least for me. So.
Well, can I ask one more question of you?
Yeah.
What, when you first realized who you were getting mind speak from, what was your reaction?
I don't even know if I can remember. I know when I first saw him, it was like I lost time. I was so disoriented. Like it was so out of the blue. And I was out there finally, like people were like, "Oh, you got a lot of things going on out there." Like, "Oh, there's so much stuff and Sasquatch are everywhere." So I started filming and it was like, I was like, maybe if people could help me out, and like, I was like going live and people were like, "Oh, there he is. Oh, there's a cloaked one and there's a face and and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like, I get it. Oh, I see it," like, or people would send me a picture and I was like, "Oh, all right, cool." When I saw all of him, like I'm a fucking soldier and it dropped me to the ground. You know what I mean? Like I dropped to the ground and I was shaking and screaming no and in the fetal position. Fight or flight was, there was no, my body and mind told me don't flee, don't fight, just drop and kind of beg for mercy. And he had, he didn't do anything. He didn't snarl at me. He didn't growl. He didn't do anything nasty. He showed his teeth. He just left. Just as soon as he showed up, he left. And then I just chose to go back in. And, I always say it's like, I think people see Sasquatch and it's like they either never go back in the woods or they're always in the woods trying to find answers, like, so it's, I kind of went that route. So, but I've never really had at least with the Sasquatch, I've never had a bad experience. Some people don't put Dogman and Bigfoot like separate. Some people say they're the same thing. They're all skinwalkers. They're all, I separate them because I've had bad experiences with Dogman and good experiences with Sasquatch. But, yeah, I don't know if that answered the question. Like,
I was looking for exactly what you gave me. Ask a question and get the answer. So yeah, sometimes it's hard to talk about this stuff. So yeah, I get it, definitely.
It's like it's easy for me to talk about. I don't know why, bro. Like I've done a million live shows. Like I've done a lot of call-ins, but I get nervous every single time, and I couldn't tell you why. Like even when I do my own live streams, like I just get nervous, and I couldn't tell you what the reason is, but.
I can remember the first public speech I gave. My mouth was as dry as cotton balls. That was probably about 20 years ago. And now I can remember it to this day. I was talking about sleep apnea in a medical conference. And, it's just something clicked that, about 15 minutes into the speech, and my mouth was as dry as a bone. And then I was like, oh, I can talk about this. I know exactly what I'm talking about. And from that point forward, every once in a while, I've had a couple of spooks on stage. I can remember being in front of a group of like 300 and some PTA members and kids and stuff. And there was a couple kids making faces at me, trying to get me to laugh in the crowd. And they actually kind of did that. So yeah, it's interesting. Public speaking is interesting. And then I guess I've got used to it doing this thing. Being in front of a microphone's a whole lot easier than being in front of a crowd of 300 people looking at you. You can't imagine everybody naked all at once. It kind of spook you.
I don't want to see nobody like that. Not in this day and age. Not in America.
Not in America, yeah. Well, it's just what it is. But,
I'm just joking. Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean, public speaking is the number one, fear in I don't know if it's the world or the United States, but they say public speaking is like the number one fear people have. And I mean, when I'm in the brush, it's a different story. It's like a natural. I'm in more of a, my own element, if you will. Like I don't know. I get out in the woods and I'm like, I can talk and I could, free flow. But like if I'm just sitting still, I start getting antsy and like I stutter step and like I start like questioning what I'm doing and I don't know. It's just it's just me, I guess. But yeah, I couldn't speak in front of that many people. I mean, I guess you have to build up to it, but that's wild.
Yeah, well, that was an interesting night. That was that's been about a decade ago when I did that. But you progress, and then you retire, and that's about all I did. So.
I went to the Whitehall Festival, and my buddy Kenny W. Irish, he's an author. Actually, he's at Into the Fray. He was speaking, so I wanted to go support him. So I went to the town hall, and he was speaking in front of, like, I mean, maybe 15 people, and I was like, he called on me about something, and he was like, yeah, or somebody was like, oh yeah, Mike has video of a Sasquatch walking away, and I was like, everyone looked at me, and I got so hot and like nervous. It was ridiculous. Like it wasn't even like I was on, the center focus, but just because everyone turned and looked at me, I started getting all jittery. So I don't know. It's just what happens every time I go on a live stream or call in.
All right. Well, you're doing fantastic, Mike, and I appreciate you calling in.
No, man, I appreciate what you're doing. This is very big. This is a huge thing, and I want to commend you for it, because this makes it easier for people, bro, to call in. Like when they don't have to put their face up there. You know what I mean? It's a big deal, and I don't know if you know it is, but it is. Like this is a big deal what you're doing. It's it might start off a little slow, but if you don't mind, like I'll share your stuff to my community tab or whatever, and help some people
if you'd
come
like
over.
To, I appreciate it. Any help?
Well, I always ask
is
first.
Appreciated. Go for it.
Yeah, I always ask first, because I mean it's
Sure, far and wide as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I appreciate you,
right,
Mike.
Brother. Yeah,
Definitely.
thank you for having me, and have a good night, everyone in chat.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
All right.
Bye.
Night, brother.
All right, definitely. Wow. Well, we got another caller right behind him. Unscreened caller, you are on the air. Give me just a second to link you back up. And, yep, you're officially on the air. What's your name and where you're from?
Hey, my name is Jack McClellan. I'm from North Florida. I work in cahoots with Connor quite a bit. Connor Flynn from Bigfoot Anonymous, excuse me.
Wow, I think you're about the fourth or fifth caller that Connor Flynn sent my way. So what's going on with you, Jack?
Well, you spoke to my buddy Ethan earlier. Yeah, Jack. Spoke to my buddy Ethan earlier. We both worked pretty hard on Void Cat. He did I'm sure he told you something about it. I'm sure Connor's mentioned it too, somewhere along the lines. We do a lot of stuff kind of based in, or inspired by, cryptids and supernatural occurrences, objects, etc. But we're actually gearing up to try and do some stuff this upcoming weekend with Stacy Brown and his bunch. Get something going, some paranormal research and stuff like that. I'm actually
over at the
outside right now testing out. Yeah, that one. I'm actually outside right now testing out some new rigs and stuff on our camera gear, trying to get that ready. And
that's cool.
Sounds like an exciting time.
What's the strangest encounter you've had so far?
Personally, the strangest encounter I had was.
Don't tell me.
Was a few years ago. No, he's the second. No,
he's the second. Okay.
No, I love Connor. He's great. The second was, the second LO. The first was actually, I was still in just getting out of high school, living in these really rural areas. There's lots of traveling up and down the road, and I was coming home from an area called, city called Bristol, taking a highway called Highway 12, and it was pretty late at night, and I was going down an area called Pine Grove Church Road, which is just a few minutes away from my home. I live in an area called Sycamore. And it was late at night, and I'm tired, but I'm a pretty active driver. I pay good attention. I'm always aware of my surroundings, and I saw this dog. And I'm used to seeing deer and stray dogs all over the road, all that kind of stuff out in this part of Florida. Anyone's used to it. And I saw this dog, and I remember thinking, "Damn, that's a big dog." And it was right after a church on the road that the road's named after Pine Grove Church Road. It was a little ways after it, right next to a cemetery, and the dog, I slowed down because it's late, and dogs are, you can't ever correctly judge what they're going to do, especially if they're feral or strays. And so I slowed down, and unless I was just completely losing my mind, the dog stood up like on its hind legs and kept moving off the road, and that shook me pretty good. I raced home because, obviously I think any right-minded human being would probably, somewhat if not upset, then just very shaken by seeing something like that. So I went home and kind of tried to collect myself, and convincing myself it was, it's late, might have been a bear, something like that. But then I'd come back to keep thinking, a bear, it was fast, a bear on its hind legs kind of waddles, and then bears around here, all we have are like black bears, and this thing was more toned than a black bear. The best way I could describe it was like almost like a bulldog in shape. Like, bulldogs can get very muscular, and bears, they have all the fur, they can look kind of flabby and stuff like that. So
right.
I kind of toyed with it in my mind, didn't really know what to think about it, packed it away. Well, a couple of days later, one of my coworkers who actually lives on that road that I was going down, she has a chicken farm, and she's a big believer in cryptids and all that kind of stuff, but she has her reservations on a lot of things, so she's an anomaly herself. She's great. She raises great chickens, great eggs, but anyways, she has motion-activated lights in her yard, and she got them because coyotes and other animals were coming into her yard and harassing her chickens. And she's crazy. I mean, she gets off on her back porch, she's packing, and she's ready to blow anything away that's coming near her chickens. So she saw her lights coming on, and she told me, she said, a couple of days ago, I saw the weirdest thing. And I was like, well, what'd you see? And she told me what time it was. It was about the time, a little bit after I had gone through that area. And she said, all my motion lights were coming on one at a time and then going off like in a line, like something was walking past each light. And she said she got up, she had like a little 12 gauge she keeps ready at all times. She's crazy. I mean, this woman is awesome. She's great. But she said whatever it was standing up on hind legs, and the legs were like canine looking. They were bent, and they had, they weren't like bears. Bears have fairly, straight, kind of stocky, stubby legs. And she said the same thing to me, that whatever this was, she tried to convince herself it was something else, but after discussing it, once I finally met Connor, we both kind of unanimously agreed that it was maybe a Dogman or something like that. But it was a very, 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 very strange experience. One of the most bizarre ones I've ever had. My family, my folks at the time, obviously thought that I was just crazy. You were tired, but then to have a coworker who lives right there to back me up, that was a very, very, very strange experience, and it's one that's stuck with me and is continued to inspire me whenever I write or whenever we make short films, kind of like the Void Cat that we just did. It may not be Dogman exactly, but it's still, a feral mammal-esque creature. So
how long
that
ago
was definitely
was
the
this?
weirdest.
How long ago was this?
I was just getting out of high school, so it was tail end 2016, early 2017.
Oh,
so not
wow.
too terribly long ago. And a family that lives right down the road from us, the Bridges family, I did a documentary on them and their Bigfoot encounters. They've confirmed with me that several things like that have come across their property, and then in excess, along other things. And she agreed with me, Carolyn Bridges, that it was most likely some kind of Dogman or canine hybrid of some kind, and it was just freaky. The only other experience that I haven't been around, but for my parents to tell me, because my parents are huge believers in logical, it has to be this, it can't possibly be something fantastical, was about a year and a half to 2 years ago. It wasn't long after I finally moved out of the house. I live on a haunted hospital ground now, so that's pretty awesome. But
hospitals are they just have paranormal, supernatural all over them. It's just automatic.
Well, yeah, this one's a 120-year-old mental institution. So.
Oh yeah,
it's
definitely.
Super
got some
haunted.
crazy energy there.
But oh yeah, this one's super crazy. But my folks called me, and they were saying that they were out on our front porch at my home, which the home's only like 15 minutes from where I live now, so it's not too far. But they said that they heard a growl in the woods, and we have dogs and coyotes. I mean, we get packs of 20 to freaking 25 coyotes in our yard at night back in the day. I mean, it's nothing crazy. But they said that they heard this growl, this incredibly loud, ferocious growl, and more so than they could hear it, they could like feel it, like it was like the vibrations were in their chest. And it takes a lot to make my family, get spooked about something, and they were pretty upset. So they went inside, and so the dog, which we have a crazy ass dog, he was going just insane. Like, he could not contain himself. He was upset. He was angry. One moment he was barking aggressively at the door to get out. The next moment he would be tucking his tail and trying to get under the couch. I mean,
right.
Something like that. And then for that, they say it was followed up by a loud, they didn't describe it as a howling, more so just a loud, higher pitched growl. And it was loud enough that they could hear it like it was right next to them inside the house. I mean, so whatever that was, that's definitely a very odd occurrence. I wish I had been there for that one, because I would love to have heard that. But we have lots of weird things around here, man. My aunt and uncle who live next to me receive gifts on their front porch weekly, strange things like objects and objects like any kind like that. I know that last year they got it was like a little, not like a little, tiny twig, but like a twig enough that you could hold it in your hand, and you could kind of bend it around a little bit with little vines twirled around it and like leaves kind of nicely arranged. Nothing bad, but definitely things that no animal's gonna just do. Nothing with a non-opposable thumb can do, and without a properly functioning brain. So just general weirdness, stuff like that. We've had that, and then I found out the lake we lived on is like an old, weird nudist lake, and they did weird stuff out there. So it just, the more you out here, I've found that you choose to dig into these weird subjects, again, going against what people prefer, which is, just drop it, don't think about it. The more you dig into it, the more you find out, there are some weird things out here that really aren't explainable, and people just play it off as being your imagination because they don't want to explain it. That's what scares them.
Right.
So
Wow.
It's just freaky stuff like that. It's fun. And I'm finding out more stuff, local legends and whatnot. So after meeting Connor, he's been great to Ethan and I. He's been a huge asset in helping us expand our knowledge on everything just extraordinary. He's also been a huge help in front of our camera, because Ethan and I are both big into creating visual material, whether it be film or small shorts or music videos, and Connor's been pretty persistent in helping us, and I know he's mentioned you more times than I can count on both my hands. So he finally got me to call in. He was like, "Yeah, Ethan called too." I'm like, "Oh my God, if Ethan called, I got to get in on this." So.
Oh yeah. Well, thanks, Connor, for another phone call from another friend. But
he's a hustler, man. He's a hustler.
No doubt. He's got to focus that energy somewhere. So yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That
was
it's
amazing.
just cool to call in and to share some stories. And
well, aspects of your stories about the crazy dogs and the feeling the vibrations in your chest are, I've had another caller already tell a story with those aspects, those points of view, points of data in their stories. Levi from North Carolina was said almost the exact same thing, other than it was a Bigfoot family with a crying kid that got his attention in the woods. So yeah,
I've never had a direct. I personally, not to interrupt, I've never had a direct encounter with a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot. I want to, and Connor and I are actually planning on here soon. The Bridges family that live down the road from my home, they have actually invited us to stay at their house. They have a smaller house off of their main one. They've invited us to stay a little while. They want us to basically monitor everything at night, because according to what Miss Bridges has told me, their interactions with things they can't explain have gone up tenfold. They are beginning to experience aggression, is what she's told me is the word she's used to describe aggressive mannerisms from whatever these mystical entities are. She used to define them as, Bigfoot or Sasquatch, but she herself has gone on record now to say that she thinks it's something more than that.
All right.
And she wants Connor and I to basically spend the night out there and see if we can either witness anything, track something down, which I'm totally up for. I'm just, only reservation I have is if now that she says they've become more aggressive, it's like, oh, now you want us to come out there, huh? But I hope hope she's got insurance for my gear.
Well,
I don't want to have my crap ripped apart.
Well, I have heard that Bigfoot or boogers or wood boogers or skunk apes don't like anything that has 60 cycle EMF frequency. So just to let you know that. I have heard so many times where they just rip camera. I know 5, 6, 7, I'd say a little less than a dozen stories direct from the person that placed persons that placed cameras and other objects out that had 60 cycle EMF, and they rip it and, it disappears. Rip it down.
I would not be too much fond of that if it happened, but hey, anything for entertainment, right?
Oh yeah. Well, have you ever heard of dogmancams.com?
I have not heard of dogmancams.com. I'm sure. I'm almost positive Connor's probably mentioned it to me at some point, but he has told me so many different things I had never heard of. I can't write them all down in time.
Well, there's a project where they actually have these cameras hooked up to the internet either via Wi-Fi, which is the latest cameras out in Mississippi. They place them at places where Dogman and Bigfoot activity have been documented. And a bunch of the cameras have, the one down in Louisiana was ripped off and taken to parts unknown. And another camera over in Mississippi, Booger Valley camera, near that place was destroyed or taken off and destroyed from its perch place. It's just amazing. If you got activity like that and you got that 60 cycle whatever hum, I've heard several people talk about this stuff, that they do not like this electronic equipment whatsoever.
Well, has Connor mentioned to you the footprint we found in a cave in Mariana probably about 2.5 months ago?
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
when I went to record it, the microphone just went completely just apeshit insane. I mean, it's a good mic. It's got a few issues here and there, but interference is nothing I'm not unaccustomed to. But this was like straight up like someone was ripping out the freaking motherboard of a Game Boy. I mean, it was going crazy, and you couldn't even hear Connor talking. And we went back and reviewed it, and we were like, what the hell? Up until that point, the mic had been working just fine. I was using an adapter for my phone to use the microphone, and everything was going A-okay. And then as soon as we see that footprint and Connor starts talking about it and I point that mic at it, that microphone goes haywire, don't get a lick of audio. And it's like, maybe there is something to this.
Well, you never know.
Little things like that.
The other side, the ether, you might have got into a hot spot where the veil has, either been dismantled or very, very thin to cause that.
Well, yeah, well, there's just so many encounters, and stuff like that. I'm just beginning to wet my feet on it, or get my feet wet. So I'm still trying to discover more things. I'm hoping that this Saturday we can maybe make some cool discoveries when we go and research some areas around Mariana with Connor as our guide. Hopefully he won't lead us to our deaths.
Well, hope not. But,
he won't. He's a good guy. He wouldn't do that to us, right?
Well,
I'm sure Connor's listening right now thinking, I got you now.
Yeah, he said, ask about Zillafoot is the last thing I saw him pop.
Zillafoot? Oh, no. What would you like to know about Zillafoot?
Honestly, that's what he said. Ask about Zillafoot.
Oh, man. Zillafoot is an insanely bad, and I cannot reiterate that enough, insanely bad micro/no budget kaiju movie that was initially filmed about 5 years ago by son of infamous cult film director Mark Polonia, Anthony Polonia. He was given $200 to film a movie about a Sasquatch Godzilla hybrid, essentially, that shows up after an alien invasion starts on Earth, and he wreaks havoc, and that's it. And the movie was never really finished, and I guess in order to tie into the hype of Godzilla vs. Kong, the head of SRS Cinema, Ron Bonk, reached out to a lot of folks and was like, hey, can you shoot certain scenes? And I got in touch with him, and I said I can shoot military scenes. And I wasn't sure what the movie, because I had seen the poster, and the poster looked really cool. I was like, man, that looks awesome. And then I got a chance to see the rough cut of the film, and I said, man, that wasn't awesome. And so the military scenes we did, we kind of just started having fun with it. Initially, they were going to be like super serious and be very contrast to the actual film, which is just makes sci-fi original movies look like damn Michael Bay triple A quality films. I mean, that's how bad this is. So we shot the scenes, and the movie has now sold enough copies online apparently that it's supposedly getting a wide release in like Walmart, Best Buy, Target. I haven't seen one in Walmart posting. I haven't seen one myself in posting. Yeah, it's really cool that we're in this film that's been released, but it's also embarrassing. Like, if you look on the back of the box, the word gorilla, which is the biggest text on the box, is misspelled.
So you're talking like a Chinese knockoff of, electronics. Like you see iPhone that's knocked off, and iPhone's misspelled with a bunch of additional characters. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, we have fun with our scenes. All I can say is, people who do end up buying it, if they find it in stores, are going to buy it because the cover, the theatrical cover, or excuse me, not theatrical, Jesus, no. The wide release cover for the DVD looks like a straight up just rip off of the Godzilla vs. Kong poster. It has like that contrasting blue and orange colors, and Zillafoot looks way cooler than he does in the movie. In the movie, he looks absolutely just stupid. And the actual movie, the cover is a complete lie, and people who do buy it are going to be very pissed off if they were expecting something good. But the coolest thing to me about it is that it ties into these other kaiju films, so that was cool to me.
So Zillafoot versus, say, the old Toxic Avenger from way back when. Which is better?
Toxic Avenger is a much better movie. Zillafoot is truly, truly bad. I'm happy I did scenes for it, and I'm happy it, I guess, got enough sales to go wide. But the guy who produced it, Mark Bonk, who runs SRS Cinema that distributes it, he has expressed interest in a follow-up that we could direct. I could have Connor star in along some others. We haven't really got there yet. Not sure if we are. If we do, cool. If we don't, cool. Yeah, that's about the skinny of it. Right now, we're just concentrating on our own little projects we've been doing, like the Void Cat. We had a lot of fun with that. Connor was an absolute blast to work with. He didn't even have to act, man. He just came on and talked, and we've recorded it, and then it made it into the movie.
So he actually looks like he's buzzed 24/7, or what?
We do insert a joke in there about that, a physical joke. It's a fun little movie. I have my issues with it. I mean, I guess that's any project. Once you finish it, you got things about it you don't like. But overall, on a technical level, I'm just beyond pleased. I think the visuals came together great. Ethan just absolutely knocked the audio and music out of the park. Nick and Connor did a good job acting. Nick, who acted opposite Connor, he was pretty funny. He's a very unlikable character, and I didn't intend on him being that unlikable, but he really sold the fact that he was a really unlikable character, so we went with it. And the monster props, I was proud of how they came out, considering they were all, I mean, everything we've done thus far has been shot on
the cheap,
literal no budget, pull together what we can out of our rear and just pray to God it works, and hope that duct tape holds everything together. And I would say that for what we're working with and how much time we work on things, that we produce some pretty stellar stuff, and that if we were given the appropriate time and budget to pull something off and a larger cast, I think we could really, really, really do something special, especially with all the help we get from Connor and other people associated with him, and then other people we pull together. It's just, we all have full-time jobs when we're not doing this, and I have a full-time job. I'm always on call, and I have school, so we're always stacked beyond belief, and we try to make it when we can, and when we do, we generally do a damn good job. And I'm really, I'm really proud of everyone that works with us, and they mean a lot to me, and hopefully our projects mean a lot to them and to everyone else who gets to watch them. I have the Void Cat online. I'd be happy to send you a link to it. I have it unlisted.
I've already seen it.
Technically,
I've already seen it.
You've seen it?
That was a cheesy, hilarious movie. I just loved it. I was like, oh man, this is cheesy. This is really, holy shit, this is cheesy. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty wacky. It's out there. Like I said, there are things I wish I could have done a million times differently, but you know, it is what it is. It came together as it did. So
yeah, there you go.
I know for our next project, we want our next project to be darker, more serious. Let's get some naked ladies in there. I don't know.
Well, there you go. You know, bump that PG-13 up to R, at least a solid R.
Do it. We'll get Connor to run across the screen naked. That's our secure in the R rating.
Ooh, no. Nope. You just ruined it for me right there. So there you go.
Hey man, there's someone out there that'll watch it and enjoy it. I know. We'll have a blast filming it.
Oh yeah, diversity. That's the key. Diversity.
There you go. Well, hey, no. I'm not good enough for that. That's why FSU hates me. My university I'm going to, they hate me. Like my first project was the Bigfoot one I did, and my professors got mad at me for doing that because it wasn't what they wanted. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna cave into what you want, because they wanted me to tell a meaningful story, and I'm like, well, to the Bridges, you know, their interactions with these beings is meaningful. That means something to them. So not everyone agrees with it, but hey, you gotta spread the message somehow.
Well, you're not going. Well, I'm not going to please everybody doing this show, and I don't expect to be everybody pleased. I'll have a handful that love it. I'll have a handful that come back and say, "What kind of train wreck is going on now?" When and everything in between and outside of that, and that's why I do it.
Yeah, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I gotta get rolling because it's late for me, and I gotta be up early for work in the morning. But I just wanted to call in and rep a little bit for everyone, and it's cool to finally talk to you. Connor's mentioned you 1.5 million times, so it's awesome to finally.
Well, I hope I lived up to his praise or whatever he's trying to say.
Pretty good, dude.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Jack.
I'm not trying to sound anything, but yeah, man, nice talking to you. Have a good one, okay? And I'll keep up with your podcast and stuff, or whatever they call them on YouTube. I don't know what they call them technically on YouTube.
Well, here right now, this is a podcast on YouTube, and I'm on the Paranormal Radio app. Saturdays, I'm actually on a radio station. Actually, UPRN Talk Radio down in New Orleans, and then the Fringe FM. So, holy
New Orleans, that's one area I do want to go investigate. I have a lot of family in the Louisiana, New Orleans area, and lots of things that you could talk about there for sure. So.
Oh yeah, that place. I've talked to so many people from the New Orleans area. That place is just supernatural crawling, creepy crawling down through there. So definitely. But I appreciate you, buddy.
All right, man. You take it easy.
Thank you, Jack, for calling in. I appreciate you. Keep it between the mayonnaise and the mustard.
Thank you. All right, man. You have a good evening.
All right. See you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, Connor, you got anybody else lined up to call in? I don't see anybody running around. One Bound Music. What's up? Flat Rock Booger, man. Hey, wait a minute. I actually got something queued up that was a little bit different. Bigfoot Howling from Flat Rock Booger up in Alabama. I've got one of his crazy catches he's caught off of his back porch in Alabama. Going to go ahead and play that. Hopefully hold on a second. Let me do something real quick. Turn this off. Let me quit the Skype over here on this Mac so I don't get interrupted when I do play this. All right, so this is called off of Flat Rock Booger's back porch, I believe, and Bigfoot Howling. So hold your seats, folks. This is actually a real, God-honest recording of what Flat Rock Booger says is a Bigfoot howling. know this is about a minute and a half more on this, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of. There you go. That's some interesting stuff. Now, would you go crazy living in a spot where you hear stuff like that all the time? You know, have you ever caught that samurai chatter stuff? They're Flat Rock. Have you ever caught any samurai chatter stuff that's going on? I know that you've got your own little YouTube thing. Go over to Flat Rock Booger, his YouTube channel. Somebody in the with a wrench drop his link to his show over there. Crazy. Ingom said, if I heard that near me, holy cow. Flynn Rider says, that's good. Yeah, well, holy cow. You know, I didn't have a audio recorder out when I was on my back porch watching the sun set. Oh, you have? Cool. Samurai chatter, I kind of wonder what the heck's going on with that. Where, I've talked to so many people that had, have heard this samurai chatter or heard whoops and hollers and knocks and pings. And now another person, let's see, who was that? Oh yeah, Mike, Long Island Bigfoot from Long Island. Mike, Mindspeak stuff. Have you ever had a Mindspeak episode where you encounter something and you kind of wonder, what is that? Why am I listening to that? That's not me. All right, we got another caller on the unscreened open lines. Give me just a second. We'll get this person on. Unscreened caller, give me just a second, and you'll be live in 2, 3, 1. You are a live unscreened caller. What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Mike, and I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Not much. I'm Flynn Rider online.
Oh, Flynn Rider. Oh, the UFO guy. Yeah.
Yep, I'm the UFO guy. I've read 4,600 UFO books, and for the last 4 years, I've been working on a research project. I own about 4,000 UFO books, and I've been going through all of them, taking the data from every case where aliens are seen with UFOs and putting all the like ones together. So I've got data on 1,553 species of aliens. I know where they're from, what their ships look like, what their emblems look like, what star they're from. And what's really interesting is some of the species, like say the Arcturians, I have over 1,000 cases of them being seen. So just to give you an example, their transporters smell like the flower lily of the valley. So anytime you get a UFO case where somebody says, I smelled lily in the valley, that's the Arcturians. So I'm able to, by knowing facts like that and putting them together, I'm able to collect data on just species after species after species. And I'm also keeping track of UFO crashes, bodies, bases. I'm actually reading several books right now. The last couple of days, I'm reading several books on alien bases on Earth. I've been doing the bases database for a while, but I really got interested in it the last couple of weeks or so. Mm-hmm. So it's really, the numbers really went up. There's just a ton of alien bases on Earth.
Are they mostly on continents, or are they under the ocean?
They're kind of everywhere. There's a lot around Puerto Rico, but there's a lot everywhere. Some of the info I found, talk about the base out in Malibu, the Santa Catalina Island area. Mm-hmm. The undersea anomaly there. That base, if you look at the number of UFOs types, and then the people that say that they've been seeing aliens around that area, it's all different. So it's not like it's one race. It's like it's a conglomerate of races that are at that base. So I just find stuff like that fascinating.
Wow. Here, I've said this so many times with my own personal research into the supernatural, UFO, cryptids, you name it. Looking at the maps of where they actually document where these encounters from, UFO encounters, Bigfoot, Dogman, UFOs, if you lay the maps on top of each other, they pretty well correlate. Have you found that to be true with your research?
Yeah. The other thing that is interesting is cases where you get like different species seen together. I actually highlight those cases because I want to know who's working with who. And so there seems to be like two main factions that are kind of like the good guys and the bad guys. The good guy group, you could classify them as the United Federation of Planets. That's actually a real thing. Gene Roddenberry actually got that from a real case. He based it off of a 1960 crash in Canada. And so the Federation is real. So a lot of those species all hang out together. And then you have the bad guys who are like the Draco reptilians and species associated with them. Now this is strange, but Bigfoot's actually associated with them. But I still consider Bigfoot like a good species. The one case that comes to mind with me is there was a Kentucky case where a human ran into a Draco reptilian and a Bigfoot. And the Draco reptilian was going to kill the guy. And the Bigfoot looked at him and said, "Don't kill the human." So to me, Bigfoot just seems to be like a little nicer than the others.
Well, my love of my life, Miss T, she believes that Bigfoot protect us from the UFO folks. Would that be
that's
probable, plausible?
Yeah, that's very possible. They seem to be definitely associated with them. There's also cases, there's some funny cases out there, but there's one case where Bigfoot's driving a UFO with his feet.
With his feet? Now,
yeah, with his feet.
Tell me that story. I want to know how he drives it with his feet and how that story actually was told.
There was a cabin where like a kids go, like a outing thing, a school outing or whatever. Or it's been a while since I read this one, so I'm kind of giving you the basics. But
okay.
They're in a cabin, and a sphere-shaped UFO came down beside the window of the cabin. And so these kids were looking out, and there was Bigfoot, two of them sitting side by side inside this sphere that was see-through. And Bigfoot was working the controls of the UFO with its feet.
Wow.
So that case just kind of cracks me up because Bigfoot was driving a UFO with its feet.
So, I know that your forte is UFOs. So, but you mentioned Bigfoot. Have you delved into what you think the origins of Bigfoot are?
I studied Bigfoot a lot growing up. I've done a lot of paranormal research. I've studied Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Bermuda Triangle, ghosts, UFOs. Pretty much from the research I've done in the last 4 years, I think Bigfoot's an extraterrestrial race. And I think there's probably several of them. And they're kind of like humans in the fact that I think that they come from different origins. I think some of them are interdimensional. There's a lot of cases in Russia where they seem to come from another dimension. But there's other cases where there's a planet, Maldek or something, where Bigfoot is said to be from, and it was said to be a destroyed planet. And then Bigfoot came here from there, is in some of the cases. But in other cases, then you have, it's almost like Bigfoot's an alien pet, where they like are working with Bigfoot maybe, or like in that case in Kentucky, where Bigfoot was seen with aliens. So it's just kind of a huge variety. And then there's other cases where I think he's kind of a cryptid, and maybe he has Earth origins. So it's a very good mix, I think.
There is one UFO encounter that I actually, had a close secondhand encounter with through my girlfriend and her mother. Actually, I was on the phone with my girlfriend, and she saw this fireball. Her mom yelling, "Hey, look at this fireball!" And she goes out and says, "What do we need to do?" And I said, "Well, rebuke it in the name of Jesus Christ," and it goes away. Shortly after that, they started seeing Bigfoot signs all over the place, around the place. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I guess it was a close second hand, and I heard the encounter on the phone. So I guess maybe close second hand would be better to say first hand, but on the phone. But definitely, yeah, this thing was huge. This fireball just floating. And I've seen other pictures from up through there. It looked like a Millennium Falcon ass end of a craft flying out in the middle of a field. Several photographs of that. It's interesting to see it. But, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Bigfoot's definitely one of the most interesting species out there. I kind of think he's like humans. My database, I divided it into 3 sections. It's miscellaneous, so it's kind of a catch-all. There's a gray section, so I have data on 28 species of grays. And then I have a human section, which I have over 400 species of human-looking aliens that are seen.
Oh, wow. Quick question. That Senate report that he released a few months ago, what did you think about that?
I'm not a fan of any of the group that is doing that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much think it's all not worth your time. I would not waste my time on that entire group. I don't know if you're aware of this, but in the last book that just came out, there was some stuff posted online that some of them admitted to being government agents.
Oh, some of the resources that they said that was within that Senate report about the what we knew about UFOs was actually government agents.
No, some of the researchers that were putting that stuff out admitted to being government agents just within the last couple of days.
I did not hear that. That's news to me. So what book are you talking about?
The new one about the Pentagon.
Okay. Well, if you find out, post it. Yeah, post it in the chat or send it to me. I think I tagged you on one of my Twitter account. I think I tagged you on my Twitter account about tonight's show. I appreciate you popping in, though. Yeah. That's fantastic. So how many alien species are now walking on the Earth or floating in the sky?
Well, consider this. So only 10% of UFO cases get reported. So you only have 10% to start with. Then out of that, I'm only looking at, for the most part, English cases. Okay, so I'm cutting off a lot of planet just because I don't have the data from the others. Now, if I do get the data, of course, I'm going to put it in the database. I put everything in the database that I can. But So I own 4,000 UFO books. Well, if you, at one point, I looked up on Amazon, how many UFO books are there? There's 20,000. So I'm looking at 20% of the data is all. So if you imagine that 1,553, you think, wow, that's a lot. But you got to remember how much of the data I don't have and think of how huge these numbers are. So if you then want to look at, well, how many species are walking the earth? They're everywhere. I mean, they are literally everywhere. And they're on our internet. You can literally probably say hi to an alien if you just go out on Twitter and go pick a species and just go, hey, they might even respond. I go out to Twitter all the time and I'll type in specific questions for a specific race just to see if I'll get a response.
Well, hell, I might have to do that. I may do that tonight. Hadn't thought about that. That's interesting. Appreciate that, Mike. That's, yeah, anybody's got a Twitter account, just say any particular UFO species, alien species, hey, here's a question for you. See if you get a response. And of course, you're going to get some crazy responses, I'm sure, but you never know. That's interesting. So,
yeah, I've seen some interesting Twitter accounts that I think were actually aliens. There was there's a species out there from the Book of Alien Races called Tingri Tingri, and they put the cure for cancer online.
Okay.
And then they did a mathematical thing, something about cubes, where it was beyond human comprehension. Like humans have done some type of mathematical thing where we do these cubes where we had like 3 of them. Well, they gave us 3 more, and that was beyond human capabilities. So they proved that they weren't human. So if you look at Tingri Tingri, you can find an account out there that's really interesting.
Can you spell that?
Tengri twice.
Okay.
Tingri Tingri.
All right, I'll have to look that up. That's interesting. I've kind of given up on doing anything with Twitter. It's just a cesspool to me, but I'll have to do that. That's interesting.
I kind of use it just to keep up with the latest info. Unfortunately, I research a lot more than I post. So like the last few days, I've researched a lot on the UFO bases. But if you look at my Twitter, there's absolutely nothing on that. Just because I love to read, and I love to learn new things.
I got one question for you. In the United States, which state in the Union, the actual United States proper, which state has the most UFO bases?
Has the most UFO bases? California.
California why California? Have you discerned that?
Because there seems to be a whole bunch of bases around the lower western part of California. Now you got Mount Shasta also, but California just seems to have the highest number. Or when I think of that, that's the state that I seem to be writing down the most.
Wow. So have you actually seen a UFO? When's the last time you seen one? If so.
I am UFO Central, Alien Central at night. My house is Alien Central. To give you an example, one of my neighbors said that they saw 4 different species of aliens come into my house in one night.
So repeat that one more time.
Sure. In a one-night span, a neighbor of mine sitting outside said that they saw 4 different races of alien enter my house in one night.
And did they list, or could they at least say one of the races?
No, they just said we're moving.
Okay.
So it was a very short conversation. It was like 2 sentences. I saw 4 alien races enter your house, and I'm out of here.
Holy cow! Yeah, I could see that. Bigfoot Anonymous says CE5 meditation is cool. Summoning UFOs while in bed. So you put any stock to that CE5 meditation, summoning, communication?
I could do a whole doctoral dissertation on that, but some people like it. I'm not, because I know things about Greer. I'm not a fan. I'll put it that way.
I'm on the fence post about Greer. I've heard good things and I've heard not so good things on him. So I don't know enough about to really voice an opinion other than I don't have an opinion.
Yeah, I'm on the fence too, from the fact that I actually consider him a better source than some other people.
Okay.
But I still don't trust him 100%. And the CE5, I think that Greer could be, how to put this, maybe manipulating things behind the scenes. Like, let's say he had access to an alien race and he was able to tell them, well, come out and give us a sighting on this particular time or whatever. Then you could see how people would see aliens, but it's really because maybe he had access.
That's interesting. So, there's a lot of talk about the U.S. government and other governments of the United that's associated with the United States and not associated with the United States have a lot of influence, if not controlled, by off-world entities. Do you have an opinion about that?
Yeah. So you've heard of the Draco reptilians, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So a lot of people question whether they actually exist or whether they're here. I want to give you the first 2 cases I ever put together. Well, 2 of the first cases I ever put together. The first was R.D. Clark's book, The Leland Chapter. And the second one was Albert Rosales' Florida book, page 33. Now, what these 2 cases show is men in black coming down, getting in cars. They drive to an airport, 4 of them. 3 of them get out at the airport, go into the airport, and the 4th one drives the car back to the UFO. Well, what you don't know is R.E. Clark did a lot of extra research on that, and she found other cases similar to that. Now, those 2 cases are 60 years apart. They've been doing this for 60 years. They've been infiltrating us. The men in black, in my opinion, most of the men in black cases are Draco reptilians, because there's a lot of data that correlates that. So what you have is actually evidence. If you put all the evidence together, you can actually get the evidence to prove that for 60 years, we've been infiltrated. At least for 60 years. At least. And that's just by one race. So if you want to talk about like Aldebarans, look exactly like us, but they have blue blood. You got to worry about them because they're hostile. You got to worry about the Dodonians. They were the ancient Greek gods. They're still here. They're still seen in UFO cases where they come down and land. So it's not just the Draco reptilians that you got to worry about. It's like, if I was working in the defense industry right now and I was like, I got to keep aliens out of it. Like, let's say I got to keep aliens out of the Pentagon. I'm pulling my hair out because there's so many. It's how do you have shapeshifters, you have things that can turn invisible. So trying to do security, it would be a nightmare. Like one of the things I always say online is that the Earth has no defense against extraterrestrials. We really don't. They can come down at will. So yeah, if you're wondering if they're here and if they're among us or if they've invaded our government, The answer is yeah.
So we could easily be living next to alien and not even know it.
Yeah, there was a case that Beyond Creepy did on his YouTube channel called The Family, and it's about a Draco reptilian family living in a neighborhood. So that's go out and find Beyond Creepy's YouTube channel, and then find the video of The Family, and listen to that. It is fascinating.
Sounds like it's fascinating, plus scary on top of it, even if it is possible, which, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be possible. And I asked the question, obviously that's in my mind that it is possible. So what's the most dominant species now? Or is there a top 3 or top 5, top 10?
Yeah, so the big ones are the Draco reptilians are the bad guys.
Okay.
And then the Federation's the good guys, and the biggest species for the Federation is the Arcturians. Arcturians are so advanced that they beat Draco in a fight. So they are, when you see Loki on TV and you see the bureau that Loki works for, Arcturians are like the timekeepers. They're like the ones that they have a device on their left wrist that allows them to look like any species on any planet that they're from or that they're on at the time. But they also can open up portals that are 10 foot by 10 foot. They can go to the past, to the future. Their technology is so far advanced. It's just magic. But so to answer your question, the Arcturians are like the ultimate good guys, and they kind of keep everything. There's a saying that I think the Federation uses, which is believe in good. So if you believe in good, even though like we're infiltrated, like let's say the Draco are here or whatever, just believe in good, and that the Arcturians are here and they're going to help us.
Wow. Are you an Art Bell fan? I'm sure you probably are.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember a dude by the name of Madman Markham?
It doesn't ring a bell.
He actually got in jail for getting high capacity electronic transformers off the side of the road and tried to build a time machine.
Oh wow!
You should look that up. But anyway, what you were talking about with the time travel, Madman Markham just popped up in my head. But he actually was in jail, and he had a weird address. It was like something and a half. But anyway, you can actually see where he used to live. I don't know where he's at now. When Art Bell was still alive, he was asked about him, see if he was still in contact with him. And yeah, apparently he's still alive. But he disappeared off the radio for a long time. I haven't heard from him again. But if Madman Markham is actually somehow listening to this podcast radio show, call me, man. I'd love to talk to you. But anywho, so many questions. I actually saw a TR-3B above my house in 2009. It was such a, I can't say inspiration. It was a hallmark of my life. Just seeing that and saying, oh, crap, what the heck is going on? Totally silent. And that phased red strobe that was in the middle of the 3 lights on the corners, that's what I use to see if they actually have a video of anything that pops out. What is a TR-3B? Is that ours that we developed? Because there's quite a bit of stories out there that most of the stuff you see in the sky is our stuff.
Yeah, and that's not correct. If you think about it, like just to talk about the Pleiadians are 800,000 years ahead of us. How are we going to back engineer something that's 800,000 years ahead of us? So most of the stories about we back engineer stuff is all BS. What you just described above your house, you just described a perfect Draco triangle. That's the kind of craft that they use, and you just actually described their light pattern. So what you probably saw was a Draco craft.
Well, it's the strangest probe that the phase, how that strobe was. I can't explain it other than it wasn't like something like a flashing red light on top of an ambulance or something like that. It was not like that. Well, it was like the edges were phasing in and out of visual range as it was going around in, a clockwise rotation. And it was just strange. It was just, I could see it, and trying to describe how it looked, it didn't have the cutoff of where you have this parabolic reflection of a regular strobe on top of an ambulance or whatever. It wasn't that. It didn't have that, cutoff at the edge. It was just like it phased in and out a visual spectrum, if that makes sense.
It does. I actually saw a triangle myself. If you want to hear that story.
Sure, I'd love to hear that.
I was at my cousin's house about 2 a.m. one night, and I go down to the end of his block, turn left at a corner. I'm driving, and this is in Mars Hill in Indianapolis, and there's trees over the road. I look up, and there's a triangle-shaped craft just sitting, and just like you described, red light in the center, 3 white lights on the corners. It's sitting facing away from me. The one light is in front of me directly, and the other 2 are to the side. And it's moving away from me slowly. So I'm driving, and I'm like, if I keep driving, I'm going to drive into this thing. And I was like, I don't want to do that. So I slammed on my brakes.
Yeah.
And when I slammed on my brakes, it stopped. And I was like, uh-oh. I was like, that thing sees me. And so I put my car into reverse, and I floored it. I started going backwards. This thing shoots backwards. I was like, uh-oh, here it comes. So I literally floored my car to get away from this thing. And it comes over my car. I got back to the stop sign where I'd initially turned my car engine dies.
Right.
I'm sitting there in the middle of the road, and I'm like, I'm about to be abducted by aliens. I'm like, how do I stop this? So I thought, they hate witnesses. So I slammed on my horn. I jumped out of the car, and I started screaming. I started running down the street towards my cousin's house. And it just so happens I got lucky because there was a party going on at one of the houses on the corner. And so I had 20 to 30 witnesses see this thing. They all turned around and looked, and here's this triangle-shaped craft hovering over my car. But then it just shoots straight up in the sky. So I go over to them, and I'm like, did you guys see that? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, I'm like, thanks for helping me. And they're like, yeah, no problem. And they're like, we thought a girl was in trouble. They're like, you scream like a girl.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well,
if you're actually really, any man that is actually really scared out of their wits, they're going to sound like a little girl. Definitely. I can certainly attest to my own prowess at being able to sound like a girl when I get scared. So.
Yeah. So, if you ever have any questions about aliens, if anybody does, just feel free to hit me up on Twitter.
All right. Well, I would love just to have you on my show as a guest sometime.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll hit you up on Twitter, and we'll try to make something convenient for you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, Mike, I appreciate you. Flynn Rider over on YouTube, and Flynn Rider on YouTube and Twitter, actually. So there you go. Appreciate you for calling in. Thank you so much.
Okay. Appreciate you too, bud. Bye.
Bye. Wow. Okay, folks. This is Chasing the Truth. It's just not a cryptid show. It's not a Dogman show. I do talk about Dogman and cryptids quite a bit because that's just one of those things that, and UFOs is definitely on my radar for sure. I get the daily feeds of updates from UFOs websites and stuff. So that's one of my highlights. Earthquakes, you name it. This is just not a cryptid show But Mike, I appreciate you calling in. Folks, it is midnight here, 11 o'clock over on the Central Time, and 9 o'clock on the left coast. Holy cow. Let's see, who's in the chat? Let me go here. Yeah, Dragon ZW, I did get your text, buddy. I appreciate it. I look forward to talking to you on the air. I got your text. Keith King, let's see who else is in here that's stuck around for the happy hour. Buzzard Roost. Hey, Buzzard, what's going on? Typhoon. Anybody new that I haven't given a shout out to? Stimulate, I hope you're doing well, brother. Been thinking about you. You know, that transition with the loss of a loved one I still think about my brother. Almost, actually it's been daily since I lost him. But he's in a definitely better place than what he was when he was still living. But, yeah, that's incredible. Bigfoot Anonymous, buddy, I appreciate you calling in and all those people you sent my way from, let's see, we got Jeremiah from the Bigfoot Society Podcast that you sent my way. Mike, Jack, and then, I think that's all the folks that you sent my way. Holy cow. Appreciate that. And that was the 9th caller of the night. Okay, folks, what I'm going to do is I will give a call out and give a 10-minute countdown. 10 minutes from now, last caller. This is last call for the last caller to call in. 10 minutes starting now. So if you want to call in, 931-994-6917 is the call-in number. You can text message me or whatever. Thanks for being on, Flynn. Or Mike, Flynn Rider. We've been following each other on Twitter for a while, and I've been kind of including him on my occasional Twitter post over there when I do kind of advertise my show. I appreciate you calling in. I'll hook you up or get with you on Twitter to see when I can get you as a full-on guest. You can tell just by talking to some folks that how much they are devoted to these subjects. And Mike is definitely one of those folks. You can just, you can definitely tell that he eats, sleeps, and probably dreams about UFOs, Bigfoots, and you name it. Dragon ZW, closer to Boo Day, it will much better. Oh, geez, hold on a second. Had to cough. I don't have one of those cough buttons. I just have to hit that slider real quick. You hope an alien calls in. Well, if there is an actual alien that is out there, call in 931-994-6917. I'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite toy that you play with if you are an alien? Or are you above that? You don't have an iPhone or a computer, or what did you grow up playing with? Darkwater said, did he say what the cure for cancer is? No, he didn't. I should have asked him. He's in the chat there. Flynn Rider, if you could answer Darkwater's about that cure for cancer, what was it? Definitely CTT Discord. The invite is there from Happy Hour if you want to go over to that. That's where we have relatively free discussions on every topic that we can't cover over here. And again, unfortunately, I've had to nix any talk about the beer virus or the Coke 45 or whatever you want to call it from this point forward. Any caller that calls in that's talking about that, I'll have to hang up for you because I just don't want to put forth this much effort into a show, into this platform, and get nixed because somebody's talking about that stuff. And YouTube just does not like that in any kind of algorithm. So, last call for the last caller, 931-994-6917. We've had 9 callers tonight. We've covered everything from Levi's Farting Bigfoot story over in North Carolina. Holy cow, that was a true story too. No doubt. Let's see, we got Chris. Unfortunately, Chris from Boise, Iowa, your audio was so bad I couldn't keep up with you on the call, so I had to let you go. Apologize for that, but next time that you get a better signal, please call in. Holy smokes. Let's see. Bigfoot Society Podcast, Jeremiah. I appreciate you calling in, buddy. Also, Bigfoot Anonymous and all those parade of Colt 45 and 2 zigzags. Yeah, you just can't talk about that. Anybody that's in the chat can't. That's holding a wrench. I do not want that talk in the chat from this point forward. If they want to use code words, that's fine, but anything about that. That's it. Yeah, Dark Waters, Flynn Rider has actually got a, got a Twitter account. You can reach out to him on his Twitter account, same screen name as what he's got right there. And Dark H2O, Dark Waters H2O, or Dark H2O is his Twitter handle over there. So if you two can pop up and talk on there. But Flynn, Mike, I will definitely reach out to you and try to get you on my show as a full-on guest. And holy cow, that's going to be a rabbit hole right there. That is for sure going to be something I'm going to enjoy talking about UFOs. I don't talk about UFOs enough on this show. It's one of those fascinating subjects that I've seen one myself, actually a handful of them. And secret bases, got one near me that I didn't know a damn thing about until a buddy of mine that actually was the head over the motor pool for this area over in Lee County, Virginia, told me about it. And I was like, wait a minute, there's nothing over there. Make this two-step. Yeah, I've got all of that. Got all that, Happy Hour. I appreciate you putting that out. I've actually got all that. And I don't know why they didn't do the monetization. I've got all that. Absolutely got all that. And then some. Not sure why they didn't do the monetization on this channel, but that's all right. I'll figure it out. As vague as you didn't make the monetization, we regret to tell you that you're not monetized. That's all I got. And then, posted a link to the rules. I was like, okay, well, I thought I already had all those rules covered, but donuts is a good code word. I'm not on Twitter. Oh, okay. All righty. Let's see. I am at Dark Waters, or I am darkwaters.com is Dark Waters email. I am at darkwaters.com. But got a few more minutes for the last caller to call in. Like I said, this has been a fantastic Halloween open lines. Let's go YouTube. Let's go Brandon. I love that one. Let's go Brandon. I love that saying. Love it, love it, love it. But holy cow, this has been a fantastic show. Thank you for all the callers that called in. This has spread across just about every supernatural subject from stem to stern that I could probably cover in a 3-hour show. So, wow. But, wow, we even covered a Bigfoot call, or a recording of a possible Bigfoot yelling. May do that again here to end the show with. I don't know. Who knows? But got a few more minutes, about 2 more minutes, and then I am going to call it a night. Put this in the books as this is done. Yeah. Shout out to the love of my life, Miss T. I don't know if as she sent me a text message, she wouldn't be able to be on for most of the show. I don't know if she's been on since she sent me that one. That's cool. Yeah, that's Dark Waters email. I am at darkwaters.com. If you want to get in touch with me, it's Shawn G, SHAWN G at darkwaters.com. But yeah, that's it. It's interesting. This has been an interesting night. Lots of information out there. Definitely something that if you know anybody that likes this kind of subject matter, likes this kind of thing, share it with them. Share this stream out with them. Share it out. hit those thumbs up. It's free to hit thumbs up. It's free to like and share and subscribe. And go to iamdarkwaters.com and check out that URL. Dogmancams.com. Holy cow, there's all kinds of crazy stuff over there. That's ever expanding. They just got a new camera up in Mississippi with the Bald Nightmares. I think he's going to add another one, if not a total of 3 in his backyard. So anyway, folks, I believe the 10 minutes are up. The open lines have closed for the night. Let me go ahead and hit the silent. I got that silenced anyway. But I appreciate everybody that has called in tonight. And holy cow, this has been one heck of a ride tonight. I appreciate you being on board, sharing this, Chasing the Truth tonight. Everyone is a truther that's in the chat. Everyone is a truther. Part of the Chasing the Truth family. And holy cow. Here is the closing prayer, folks. Dear God in heaven, thank you for tonight. Thank you for the callers that have called in. Thank you for everyone that has participated, listened, or will listen and participate. Thank you for the blessings of me, being able to do this. Sharing the truth. And definitely, dear God, protect everybody that participated, listened, called in from everything that's demonic, negative, extraterrestrial, interdimensional, extra-dimensional, you name it, that is out for the ruin of the souls of man. I plead the blood of Jesus Christ on those entities, those demonic, god-awful entities. Please protect everyone and make them prosperous, happy. Send your angels of care and renewal to those folks that are in need of such things. Thank you for all those fine folks. Bless Dragon ZW. Bless Stimulate. And bless Lakeia. Help her get through her sickness that she's enduring right now. And heal her. In Jesus Christ's name, I pray. Amen. Folks, I appreciate it for you joining me for the last, holy cow, how long has this been? 3 hours, 22 minutes. But, yeah, holy cow. Well, I'm done for tonight, folks. Join me this Saturday night over on the Dark Waters YouTube channel, Dark Waters channel that you're on the Paranormal Radio app. If you're listening to me on the Paranormal Radio app, I'll be back Saturday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Central. Also on the Fringe FM that night, uprntalkradio.com. Those folks too. IamDarkWaters.com, DogmanCams.com. Is any of the .coms I got going on? Nope. I think that's about all I can come up with. And everything, if you want to donate or send me a tip, my PayPal and Cash App is in the description. So, wow. And the 931-994-6917, I do get calls from that. And I actually will have perhaps a guest that will give you some insight on American Indian witchcraft Saturday night. We'll see. But let me get the exit stuff. And we'll call her a night. Appreciate you, folks. God bless, and we'll catch you this Saturday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Central.
Do ghosts really exist? Are we alone? Is there life after death?
It looks like a giant ape with a man's face.
We've done some testing to determine if it is a synthesizer or not.
It's just starting to come at me. Like
it's very difficult to do with this is what it actually is.
And they start trying to grab me.
What do we think that is?
Hey, look, my baseball glove. No, my old one.
What?
No worse enemy.
I just saw something move on the screen, Shawn. Well, it's not there anymore.
The Navy lab of the anti-submarine warfare center